Hey everybody, you're tuning in to the Canary Cry News Talk live stream pre-stream. Congratulations if you are here a little bit early. We got a good show for you. I am still out traversing the multiverse, baby, but I found some internet, but yet it is not my internet. So, you know, it might be a little crackly here and there, might drop out. You know, it happens, but you guys are bearing with us. We appreciate that very much. So let's see here. Let me check the data. The data says Chili Peen was the first comment of the day. You get the award. Very good. Very good job, Chili Peen. I think that might be 2 in a row for Chili Peen. I don't remember. Anywho, all right, folks, make sure to follow us in multiple locations. That includes CanaryCry.Party. That's right, CanaryCry.Party. It's a real URL. Go there, follow us all over the place. As some of you might know, the Face Like the Sun channel is gone. We told you it would happen. So go tell your Face Like the Sun friends that they needed to follow us at youtube.com/CanaryCry News Talk for the backup. But you can find that all at CanaryCry.Party. All right, folks, buckle your seatbelts, stay hydrated. You know the drill. Let's go.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is July 28th, 2021. And this is episode 368. And today, ENOCHIAN Bioweapons. Razzle dazzle. I'm your best buddy, Basil.
And this is Gonz, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ. Welcome to the podcast where we bring you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. And, well, at least we're live on a few platforms like Twitch, DLive, Odyssey, Rumble. I guess we're not on Twitter right now because I'm in Twitter jail in the backup YouTube channel on Canary Cry News Talk.
Naughty boy.
I know, but yep, as you said in the pre-stream, which some of you listening to the audio version did not hear. Yes, the Face Like the Sun YouTube channel was deleted once again. I did appeal again, but I'm not expecting another. I was amazed that they even accepted the appeal last time, so I'm not really expecting them to do it this time. But, well,
it was kind of a miracle last time.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. But, yep, it's gone. But I did download a couple domains, or not download, purchase some domains today to, make it easier for people. Of course, CanaryCry.Party to stay connected with all the Canary Cry stuff. But I thought I'd put together like a Face Like the Sun link tree as well. And all you got to do is go to facelikethesun.info. And you got a little picture of me as a wee little boy as my profile picture, just for fun, if you want to see me as a small little thing.
Let me head on over there. Facelikethesun.info.
No, you, man.
Oh, yeah, I knew that.
Come on.
.info.
It's only been 10 years.
I'm realizing I don't type it all the way out almost ever.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there he is. Little baby Gonz is there, guys. You got to do it. Head on over to facelikethesun.info.
And yes, my clone son. I have that picture because I found it at my parents' house, and I was like, wow, he really does look like me when I was a little baby. So
yeah, he really does.
Fun stuff.
Almost identical.
Yep. And so yeah, yes, people in the chat, if you're just finding out, Face Like the Sun YouTube channel was deleted once again, and I don't expect it to return, but you can go to facelikethesun.live if you want to go to the BitChute channel. And most of what I had on YouTube is archived there. Not everything, but most of it. So, yeah, if you want to.
Well, that wasn't the only cool URL that you got. You got another one set up, and that is CanaryCry.Meetups.com.
Yeah, CanaryCry.Meetups.com. So CanaryCry, MEETUPS.com. And that will take you to a fresh little meetups page we put together. And yeah, just easier, to keep up with everything. You got Ciara stuff.
Yeah. We needed to do that.
Yeah. So just something for people to check out that's new. So
yeah. All right, folks. Well, you might notice that perhaps the energy is a little down today. That's for a few reasons. Of course, we're mourning the Face Like the Sun channel yet again, which happens about once a month now.
I know.
But also, as I traverse time and space across whatever shape of the earth that you ascribe to, Gons, you and I, we're so far away from this. Might be a record-setting recording session.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've ever kept track of the distance between us for shows, but we are so many time zones away from each other right now.
We're definitely leveraging the worldwide global brain or flat earth brain, whatever you want to call it, internet system network to see if it'll maintain while we try to do the show here.
So far the system is working, but it is a possibility. Now, I'm not on a human time frame like I was on the last episode, where I had literally rented a room by the hour to be able to which, look, hey folks, as a Christian man, I should not be renting rooms by the hour, but I promise you it was just so I could have a quiet room to record the podcast. Don't get any ideas, but today, no time limits except for the fact that it is in the middle of the night. And I am so tired. I'm so tired. It's crazy.
Yes, you're whatever the shape the Earth is. I guess in the flat Earth model, the sun thing light is hovering over me, and it hasn't swung over to your area right now.
The cold lighted moon is shining down upon me.
Yeah.
Making me so sleepy. All right, but there you go. So that's what's going on over here, folks. If the energy feels a little funky, I will say this. I did, which I never do, I did drink some espresso.
Oh,
a
fancy.
little earlier, which is not recommended to do that after like 3 in the afternoon, but I did it for you guys. So
great.
Hopefully I'll well, I mean, luckily I'm still exhausted, so
yeah,
I'll get to it.
Well, real quick, before we get into the Flippy update, I just want to mention that according to who Trump called Pocahontas, Senator Warren, there's a headline here by Decrypt.co. Crypto puts financial system in the hands of, quote, shadowy super coders.
Whoa.
What? One of the Senate's most prominent crypto skeptics is doubling down. Oh, the other thing I forgot to mention. If you hear noises, the location I'm at, this is just crazy, all the stuff going on. YouTube channel going down, you're in some crazy dimension. And in my location here, they're redoing the entire AC unit. So there's like a team of like 20 people working in my ceiling and the wall behind me, and so if people fall through the ceiling or if you hear very loud drilling, I apologize. It is just the situation at hand. It all just kind of happened at once today, but luckily I don't have to pay them in Bitcoin. And
because you're not a shadowy super criminal.
Do you hear that pounding?
I didn't hear this one.
Okay,
I mean,
good.
I do occasionally. Yeah,
Yeah,
I do occasionally.
The drilling and stuff. It's pretty absurd. But yes, just to add to the the excitement that is the adventure that is this episode 368. Yeah, so it says here the Senator Elizabeth Warren sent a letter to Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen asking for greater regulation of the crypto industry. Warren spoke about some of the same issues in a hearing of the Senate Banking Committee this morning. And, you know, she says, so some of the quotes here, quote, instead of leaving our financial system at the whims of giant banks, crypto puts the system at the whims of some shadowy, faceless group of super coders and miners, which doesn't sound better to me. And she had another Senator Sherrod Brown from Ohio who agreed with her and called a lot of the crypto narratives about decentralization as phony populist. And Warren said, quote, regulators need to do their job and step in before it's too late. Too late for what?
Regulate.
Regulators! It was a clear black night. And what else did she say? The longer the U.S. waits to adapt the proper regulatory regime for the assets or for these assets, the more likely they will become so intertwined in our financial system that there could be potentially serious consequences if this market comes under stress, she wrote. Oh, no. You know what's happening is the fact of the matter is Senator Warren has some... whatever she does, she has some kind of tie-in. She's all wrapped up with the traditional finance system, some central bank or whatever, whoever's within the fiat system, the Fed or whatever. And I know she talks bad about the Fed every once in a while as a progressive, but especially as a progressive, what is she talking about? It is so much more transparent, you know, Bitcoin and crypto in general, and it's not under the control of shadowy super coders.
Well,
which is like the weirdest
not that
thing
you know of.
Well, I mean,
maybe
okay.
She's saying that it's under control of shadowy super coders. You know, if there's those people out there who think it's all controlled by the CIA. They're shadowy. I don't know if they're super coders, but they know they can pay super coders.
It sounds like she's being told talking points by the actual shadowy elite there. And
no, I mean... yeah, I was trying to give her a benefit of a doubt there. But, you know, I mean, it's not surprising. That's the problem with these progressives is they're progressive in ways that, you know, supports like violence in the streets. But when it comes to big banking and big business, they're not progressive at all. Nope. I mean, again, that's the whole thing with the democratic socialism. It's just crony. It's a mix between crony capitalism and crony socialism.
Yeah.
They're, you know, it's all about the big money.
Yeah, it's all about it. Yeah. Yeah. And we won't have to get into all the talking points here to refute this notion, but it's all open source, folks. Something like Bitcoin is open source. You can go look at the code, or you can look at all the changes that are being proposed and everything else. GitHub and all that. But yeah, it's just part of the narrative, which is kind of interesting too, because the timing of it, because crypto, or at least Bitcoin, has bounced from its little bottom there at $29,000. It's back up to 40,000. And it's like the more she says how corrupt it is or how like scary it is, the higher the prices go. You know, it's kind of like
I know.
It's
finally
almost
had some movement on that thing. Can Senator Warren complain about cryptocurrency more often, please?
It's almost like part of the planned Hegelian dialectic. You know, the more Warren, a discredited politician, speaks ill of Bitcoin, the higher it goes, or something. You know, it's weird.
I know. It's part of the plan.
But all right. We should get into stuff because we got limited time today. Yeah.
Speaking of shadowy cyber criminals, let's talk about Flippy.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
Okay, folks, you saw it. I saw it. You sent it to me. Thank you to everyone who sent this to us here. But this is a real Flippy update. The Olympics going on now, and all sorts of drama surrounding all these human athletes. And who comes to the rescue? That's right. It's basketball-y. and he showed up in Japan. We've actually covered
Yeah.
this Japanese basketball robot.
We did.
And this is why you listen to Canary Cry News Talk, folks, because the world is abuzz with talk about this Japanese basketball robot. Everybody's very impressed. They're shocked. They're shocked that the robots are here to take over the Olympics. And of course, as usual, if you're a Canary Cry News Talk listener, you knew about this robot about 3 years ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago. Whoa.
It was
Did you hear that?
I did.
Loud. That was very loud.
Have
It
they
scared
broken
me.
in?
No, not yet. I'm just waiting for them to pop through the ceiling here. All right. Yeah.
Well, it'll be entertaining for the show. They probably just heard us talking about the basketball robot.
Yeah.
There's a man up in your vent who needed to get a better earshot crawling. Anywho, so if you're a Canary Cry News Talk listener, you have been rewarded for your consistency, and so have we. We covered this Japanese basketball robot 3 years ago. Because that's what we do, folks. And there you go. You got a clip there. I don't have a stream up, so I'm assuming you're playing the clip.
Well, I'm about to play it here. So here it is. So you got the robot standing at the 3-point line. Swish. Straight away,
man.
top of the key 3-pointer. And then he's now moving to half court. Half a court. He's grabbing the ball off the rack. This is all by himself. There's no cuts here. And here he goes. Half court from the logo. And he's aiming. Moving his head. And there's a shot. And there it is.
Wow.
Basket counts.
There you go. He did it. So you said, did they move him back?
No, he
Or
moved back by
he
himself.
moved? See, that's the thing. He is fully mobile, all on his own,
Yeah,
which
let me put
is
it back up
impressive. Usually with all these fancy robots, you need a team of grad students to wheel it around to show it off.
here.
But yeah, and mix this. Now, there's no article here, folks. We are going full raw Flippy update off the dome. By the way, Gons, if you look at the title of this video, Japanese basketball robot wows at halftime of USA-France game. And what's that after the word game?
Googly eyes.
Googly eyes in the title of the video, folks. Googly eyes wide shut. Googly eyes. I didn't announce this on the last episode, but I did purchase the domain googlyeyeswideshut.com.
You also text me that and then said, I have a problem.
I can't stop buying domains. So, anywho, I'll keep you guys posted on googlyeyeswideshut.com.
Something to mention. We started talking about it a little bit before we streamed, and then we were like, "Hey, maybe we can banter about it on air." But the Simone Biles story. Go ahead.
Yes, I'll enter us into this because you have some strong feelings, and we have some things to talk about. So the other side of this is that we have been hearing. Now, let me go back a bit. Simone Biles, of course, who is the sort of championship gold medal superstar in gymnastics, has been to the Olympics before, takes the gold. She's a champ. Now, all this year, starting in about February, Simone Biles was everywhere you turn around. She's on commercials. She's on all sorts of commercials. She's on billboards. She's on print ads. This girl has made so much money even before, just in the run-up to the Olympics, on all this advertising. She was everywhere. And then, of course, the U.S. and U.S. lovers around the world were shocked when Simone Biles had a little whoopsie daisies and then subsequently started pulling out of her events at the Olympics, citing mental health issues. And, hey, there's a lot more attention being paid to mental health issues. There's a lot of conversation going on about, is this okay that, athletes are expected to go out and physically perform, and we're always looking for physical reasons not to go to work or not to perform in one way or another? Isn't it great that Simone Biles is setting an example that you can take time off, you can even cancel your Olympic run because you're having mental health issues? I think this is a step forward for sort of the recognition that mental health is as serious as physical health. But, Gons,
what?
also not played sports. I have also not played sports at any sort of mega competitive level before, unlike you.
Well, here's the thing, okay? I know at the very least I was around Olympians and world record holders and everything growing up in the sport of swimming. So I've seen sort of the training that happens behind the scenes and the level of talent and focus and all that, the dedication necessary. And, especially in these types of sports at the Olympics, you train for 4 or 5 years or whatever. There's 5 years for these Olympics. And your event, your race, whatever, it's over in a few seconds. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It just ends, and you either feel like you wasted. A lot of times, I felt like I wasted several months of training because I didn't hit my goals, but that's just me. Mm-hmm. But you have, the other side of it, which is the satisfaction that you gave it your best shot. You put all your effort into it or whatever it is, And my whole thing with Simone Biles, and this is a trend now. Naomi Osaka, who's a tennis player, she recently dropped out of the, I can't remember what, I think it was some tennis tournament because she had mental health issues, and everyone was giving her praise, like, oh, we're finally putting focus on mental health issues and stuff. And on one hand, yes, great. Draw some attention to it because it's emotional issues and mental problems as part of sports should be talked about more. The saying when I was growing up was, most sports is like 90% mental and 5% physical, whatever. So here's the thing. I think a lot of these mental people backing out of big events, sporting events, the younger people that are backing out and they're like mental, emotional issues, whatever, is a direct reflection of the signs of the time. And I think it is showing the actual mental weakness of some of these athletes, not because they're mentally weak or but maybe I'm just old school, but my whole thing was like, hey, you get to a certain point, you just finish the job. It doesn't matter if you fail, or it doesn't matter if you don't do well or don't hit your goals or whatever. You're there. Let's finish it up, and then you can move on. At least you can say you completed your task or completed your whatever, the goals you had set. Even if you don't hit him, get it done, do your job, whatever. That's been my mindset, and especially I think our generation was the last one to get it, because after our generation it was everybody gets a trophy, everybody participation points and all this kind of stuff. Well, and I think it softened. Go ahead.
Well, I was say this is where I will agree with you. I am also there. Believe it or not, Gons. I was raised with sort of the same attitude. And look, I'm sure Simone Biles is having a hard time. And I'm sure fear of failure at a level that she is also competing at will certainly cause some panic attacks and some serious anxiety. I'm not denying that anxiety exists. And perhaps that anxiety will affect your performance. And perhaps you won't take the gold again and again like you're used to doing. I could see how all that would add up to well, if I know I'm having panic attacks, if I know it's going to affect my performance, if I know I'm in some sort of snowball situation where I'm not going to live up to my past performance, I would rather just not deal with it, and I'm just going to bail. Well, but that is also not how I personally was raised, which is you go out there and you fail in front of everyone and you just do it.
And it's okay to fail. That's the thing.
It's not a problem. Yeah, not winning everything you do is totally okay.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes a critic of ours, Gons, might think we take that approach on this podcast once in a while. You know what?
True.
We're tired. We can't do this. There's a man drilling in my vent.
You're in some weird dimension. Yeah.
Each other. And maybe we just skip this
one. The show must go on. I even texted that. Remember, show must go on.
And we fail in front of everyone.
Yeah, well,
anyways,
it's okay.
I think this all culminates, unless there's something just burning on your heart you wanted to make sure to get out. But I think the thing is,
yeah. Well, I was just going to say that it's a pattern here, and I say that because right there on the Flippy, and the reason why we started talking about it before we went live was because the robot represents humans. You are done now. I am here to take over. No emotions. I will shoot.
Well, that's exactly
the
what
basketball
it is.
Perfectly, and and it's really
read the messaging. Yeah. Human athletes are out. Human athletes are weak. They can change their mind in an instant. They are frail, and it's all about robot athletes, man. They hit the swish every single time. And they're not going to pull out for mental health reasons.
Well, it's interesting too because there's usually like a billboard type thing on the side of the court, and it says "United by Emotion." Like, oh, okay, interesting. And
I missed that.
Oh yeah, it says "and United by Emotion" over the Olympic symbol. And
Weird.
Here's the other thing. This game, USA versus France basketball, USA lost. Okay, the USA hasn't lost in a international basketball game in 25 games. And
who are they playing?
France. And
okay.
There were some actually there was a good handful of pro players on the French team, so, give it to them. But the US is supposed to dominate basketball. And I get it, the world is caught up, blah blah blah. Mm-hmm. But they lost 2 exhibition games to Nigeria, who they blew out by like 50 points a few years ago, and Australia, and now they've lost their first game here against France. And it's the same thing. It's these young basketball players who grew up in this generation where it's like, it's all about me, I'm the superstar, and they don't know how to play. They don't really know how to step up, and I think they're trying to avoid injury too, and they're not really playing with that much pride, and it's just, I don't know, man. I watch the Olympics and it's just a disgusting display of.
What's interesting is the Olympics, the basketball in the Olympics, that's a different thing. Remember, the NBA is driven by profit and money and corporations and billionaire owners. The Olympics, they're amateurs. They are not, that just shows, if nothing else, that goes to show that capitalism drives progress.
They do. I think NBA players do get paid for their Olympic participation. It's not much.
So, are there NBA players, like proper NBA players, in the Olympics?
Yeah. There's
the
a
rules,
lot.
The rules are
no. That rule is like that rule is antiquated. It is. There's pro players from every country.
Really?
Yeah.
And I did not know that.
Yeah.
Shows how much I keep up with the Olympics. When did they change that?
So I don't want to get into the history of the basketball thing, but basically they lost, I think in 88, they got smacked and they lost in the Olympics. And at that point they were all amateurs. And then in 92, they're like, all right, enough of this. We need to show that we're the best, athletes in the world or basketball players in the world. In 1992 was the Dream Team, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, Larry Bird. They all went and played in the Olympics, and it was a joke. They won by like 60, 70 points in every game. And then it's kind of been, other than I think 2004, I think they lost again. But anyway, point being,
just in basketball, not in
just
any
basketball.
other sport?
I don't know, actually. I think it depends on the sport, because I know like boxing, you can't really, if you're a pro, you can't compete.
Yeah, I thought that was generally the rule. I think know generally that basketball had its own special rule. That's actually very interesting.
Maybe because there's different kind of money involved in basketball. But there is a few of the new sports. There's 3-on-3 half-court basketball. And I was watching that, and I'm like, I could have been on that Olympic team. They're not really, it doesn't look very impressive.
3-on-3 Olympic basketball?
Yeah, half-court.
Oh my gosh, I am so disconnected from the Olympics. I have no idea.
Surfing is a Olympic sport now.
Winter sports guy.
I know, but it looks more like the X Games. You got skateboarding. Anyway, we're spending way too much time on this.
Anyways,
point being robots.
The point of this is robots are taking over. No more human athletes. They're weak, they're frail, they're fragile. Get the bots in there. And it sounds like France maybe already has some bots on their NBA team. Yeah. So good job, France. All right, let's move on.
All right, we're going to kick it off here with quick Chinese news.
Welcome to Chinese News!
This is South China Morning Post. China's state media moves to reassure rattled investors after rout wiped $574 billion off stock market. I don't know if you saw, Basil, but the Chinese stock market plummeted in the last few days. I haven't actually checked today.
$500 billion?
$500 billion. Just gone, vanished. Here's what it says, according to the South China Morning Post. China's state media are on a mission to talk up the battered stock market and reassure rattled investors after a rout on Monday that erased more than $570 billion from Chinese stocks listed at home and abroad. The panic sell-off provides an opportunity to, quote, buy on dips. I think buy the dips. Must be a Chinese translation. Buy on dips.
Translation problem, yeah.
Buy on dips. Meaning to invest in stocks that have plummeted in price, as there are no fundamental changes in the onshore market, according to an article published by the Securities Time, which is run by Communist Party mouthpiece, the People's Daily. Yeah, you should trust them for sure.
That's interesting. Yeah. So there was no changes in the onshore market. Was this a robot thing? Was this
it could be a bot. Yeah, it could have been a bot trading thing.
In the U.S., the bots cause these little micro crashes once in a while.
Yeah, there's an algorithm that runs most of the Wall Street and all the stock market nowadays. So your human traders on Wall Street
are done by bots,
right? So your human traders are competing with bots most of the time if you're into trading, and even humans are.
And when was it? There's something recently. Within the past few years, wasn't there a crazy little bot crash where something triggered like a bazillion bots to panic?
Oh yeah,
suddenly?
Yeah. That there's
and they had to shut it down.
There was a few. Yeah. And that's the other thing that's weird. The U.S. stock market has they have security measures. They'll shut down exchanges if stuff starts to sell off too quickly and stuff.
The big red button.
Yeah, the stop. The Shanghai Securities News, which is owned by the official Xinhua news agency, ran an article saying there's no systemic risk and that stock valuations are expected to rebound. The Securities Daily cited analysts as saying the turbulence was simply a result of funds rotating in and out of sectors and reassured readers that the big picture of the economy and liquidity remain intact. Their campaign of reassurance aimed to calm the frayed nerves of the nation's 189 million stock traders that were caught off guard by Monday's rout. Concerns have been mounting among investors that Beijing will target more industries after the crackdown against the technology and after-school tutoring sectors, which top policymakers deem to have exerted too much influence on the economy. Yeah, isn't that weird? Overseas investors sold... You want me to read it again? Uh-oh. You cut out there for a second. We might be having some issues here with the connection.
I'm just going to do a reconnect real quick.
Okay. All right. Okay, yes. So, crackdown against the technology and after-school tutoring sectors, which top policymakers deem to have exerted too much influence on the economy. Here's Basil coming back in here. Overseas investors sold domestic Chinese stock at the fastest pace in a year on Monday. And it goes into some numbers here. And there's a mention here about the technology clampdown. On top of the clampdown on the technology and the private education industries, China has also tightened its oversight of the overheated property market, with Shanghai announcing an increase in mortgage rates for the first time in years last week. The quote, the market expectations are the same segments of the consumer industry, such as medical beauty. Medical beauty, huh? Must be the elf ears.
The elf ears.
Yeah, the elf ears. Will also be in for more regulation that will lead to a change of industry fundamentals. You know what this all is, Basil? This is all setting up for the digital yuan. I think this is the rug pull to start rolling out the ESG compliant companies and pushing out the digital yuan as sort of their main currency in hopes, from China's point of view, in hopes that the digital yuan will become the world reserve currency. So that is, this could have something also to do with the reason why Senator Warren was saying, regulate crypto, hurry, we must regulate now. Because it could be a little escape hatch for economies to move into crypto while China is trying to dominate the world economy with their digital yuan. But yep, something to keep in mind or something to keep an eye on here with a massive crash. If the American stock market crashed...
That's fascinating.
Yeah, if the American stock market crashed $500 billion in one day, there would be people jumping out of buildings and stuff. I mean, it would be very, very bad.
Yeah. Well, it makes me wonder because this comes on the heels of massive crackdowns, as is, mentioned in the article there. Of course, it's not a conspiracy theory to assume that the Communist Party has control over that sort of thing. And it just fits in with their whole campaign against their established wealthy elite. And I don't know. It just fits, man.
Yeah.
It just fits.
Yeah, and I hope it's not a precursor to what they're planning to do to the U.S. Stock market. That would not be good if they pulled off a similar tactic. And just,
and again, remember, it's not just about hedge funders or even retail investors at that point. I mean, you're talking about people's pension funds, their 401ks, their entire lifetimes of savings. Those are the people who are really damaged by something like this.
Yeah.
We can all cheer for, the elites losing money or, Nancy Pelosi with all her backroom trading that's been sort of making the news recently. But there's still our brothers and sisters in the middle class or trying to maintain some sort of middle class that are hurt by these sorts of things. Yeah.
And we'll have to see how everything plays out in the next few weeks and months here, because some of what I'm hearing in the world of crypto, because I think that has a lot to do with some of this, is that, and I've mentioned this before on the show, some of the people that I think have been pretty spot on with the price action is we're expecting to see Bitcoin go on a pretty crazy tear here as a part 2 of the bull run for this cycle or whatever. And how will that coincide with the regular stock market? And if there is a big crash, would there be, or what would happen to crypto? Would it be one of those things where it flips and the stock market goes into crypto, or is it going to be more like everything crashes at the same time, like the March issue?
Is at least the hope of all
I know the crypto people,
crypto libertarians.
It
would be pretty sad if it followed the same trajectory as the stock market. Well, speaking of which, Gons, I think we've got some clips. We should get into the WACCINE.
All right, this first clip here, MSNBC. I'm going to play the whole thing. I clipped a little bit out to shorten it just a touch here, but I don't know. Tugging at your emotions, and listen for the line about how the unvaccinated are taking freedoms from us. This is more along the same lines of what we've been saying, a lot of the dangerous rhetoric in the mainstream media about the unvaccinated.
Sure, I'm going to catch all kinds of hell for saying this, but when doctors are...
Sorry, did you have something there?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
Keep going.
Sure, I'm going to catch all kinds of hell for saying this, but when doctors around the country are telling us that COVID infection rates are going up and that the overwhelming majority of those infections are among the unvaccinated, I'm more than happy to hurt some feelings. How can you read the Facebook post of Alabama doctor Brittany Kobia about the...
Again, pointing out what Facebook posts are acceptable. We mentioned that last time.
Last requests of young unvaccinated patients and not feel a roiling mix of sadness and rage. One of the last things they do before they're intubated is beg me for the vaccine, she wrote. I hold their hand and I tell them that I'm sorry, but it's too late. And I tell them the best way to honor their loved one is to go get vaccinated and encourage everyone they know to do the same. They cry and they tell me they didn't know. They thought it was a hoax. They thought it was political. They thought it was political and a hoax because folks who damn well knew better played politics with public health. Some say they are taking a wait-and-see approach. Half the nation is fully vaccinated with nary a report akin to the zombie plot of the movie 28 Days Later. So what y'all waiting and looking for? Some say they have questions about the science and worry.
What y'all? What y'all waiting and looking for? What is this? He just code switches. You know what? Okay, hold on. I got a couple things to say.
Sure.
First of all, I got it now. The Facebook thing. They keep referring to this Facebook post, this Facebook post by this doctor. They're trying to make up for the Biden comment about Facebook killing people.
Oh, yeah.
This is coming directly from the top. This is recompense for saying Facebook is killing people. So they're using this. No, don't worry. There's good Facebook posts too. Look, this good doctor did a very good Facebook post. We need to tell everyone about it.
Yeah.
Facebook's not killing people. See, look at this good information on Facebook. So first of all, that. And then second of all, this code switching that he just did. We know that the highest amount of unvaccinated people by percentage is African Americans. There's, I think, as of my last checking, there was single-digit percentage points of African Americans vaccinated, or black people. Not all of them are African. And that code switching that he did there, what y'all looking at, or whatever he said.
What y'all waiting for?
What y'all waiting for? He code switches in the middle of his news broadcast to speak directly to African Americans.
And he's a black
very
man.
sneaky.
He's a black anchor for people just listening.
Yeah, right. So it's very sneaky, but also expertly done. Mm-hmm. You don't even really notice it unless you're keeping an eye out for that. And, and part of it is because black news anchors famously, they put on their white voice, as it's called. And that's not my term, folks.
No, that's true.
That's the African-American term. You put on your white voice. And that's what this guy does. He has to put on his white voice every day to go to work. But then just really sneaky in there, code switches over to his regular voice or his black voice, whatever you call it, to specifically target African Americans watching, and shame them for not being vaccinated.
The shaming goes beyond just the black community here.
Approach. Yeah. Half the nation is fully vaccinated with nary a report akin to the zombie plot of the movie 28 Days Later. So what y'all?
Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. If you're listening to me talk about this code switching, and if you think this black man going, and nary a report, what y'all waiting for? You don't think he is an expert code switcher who is manipulating the public? Come on.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're
nary a report of the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, that is very exactly to your point there.
Vaccinated with nary a report akin to the zombie plot of the movie 28 Days Later. So what y'all waiting and looking for? Some say they have questions about the science and worry about being experimented on. I totally get that. But I implore you to listen to the scientists who are pleading with you to trust them and the science. And let me address those self-proclaimed patriots who claim vaccine mandates.
He air quoted patriots, by the way.
Oh my God.
Which is the next move here.
Who claim vaccine mandates, even mask mandates, infringe on their freedom. You're infringing on our freedom.
Whoa.
Freedom to live our lives free from the fear that you are going to cost the rest of us our livelihoods, our well-being, and our peace of mind, all because you don't want to be told what to do. Well, you know what? Get over yourselves and get the vaccine before you ruin everything for all of us.
That's the end right there.
Okay, going back again, it is like the worst high school toxic relationship ever. Listen to the gaslighting. Baby, will you just get vaccinated? Look what you make me do. You make me get mad at you because you're not vaccinated. You're only hurting me by hurting yourself when I hurt you because you didn't do what I told you to do, baby. I mean, there will be future like anthropologists 100 years from now, if we are cursed as to still have civilization in 100 years and Jesus doesn't come back, anthropologists will be looking back, looking at this report right here. They're like, okay, that was some pretty crazy code switching he just did there. And also, here's a textbook layout on how to gaslight your high school girlfriend. It is really sickening.
Yeah,
the type of like juvenile toxic relationship stuff this guy is doing here.
I see a connection with the Simone Biles quitting with the mental stress, and then Naomi, tennis player, whatever her name, stepping down for mental health with this type of reporting. I really think there's like a guilt trip, because if you're younger, you know, I'm getting older, you know, I'm at the top of the hill. There's only down from the hill now. That's traditionally I'm pretty much at the peak of the hill here. And I can only imagine younger people that grow up in this environment of the news, and if all their adults are in this type of shaming and stuff like that, you're gonna have some mental problems. Like, I'm sorry, you're just not gonna have the kind of confidence and self-esteem to get through some tough situations. So I don't know. I think it's disgusting, pretty much, the way he not only, you know, talks down to those who call themselves patriots with air quotes.
Yeah.
And how it's unvaccinated. You're taking our freedom. I'm like, whoa, man.
I know.
That
the way
is
he
ridiculous.
Bobs and weaves around the like, you're not getting vaccinated, so you're making us not safe because you're not safe, and we want you. We just love you so much. Please just do what we tell you. I don't want to have to give you the shoe again. Can you put that back about 30 seconds? I want to listen to it again.
Mandates infringe on their freedom. You're infringing on our freedom. Freedom to live our lives free from the fear that you are going to cost the rest of us our livelihoods, our well-being, and our peace of mind, all because you don't want to be told what to do. Well, you know what?
Textbook.
Get over yourselves and
our very autonomy is a risk to this. You know, talk about the progressive leftists talking about how, you know, bodily autonomy and I don't care what you think. I get to choose what I do. This is like textbook gaslighting.
I know.
You not doing what I want you to do with your body makes me mad and sad. So I'm going to yell at you from national television.
Well, it's also, I mean, anybody that's objectively looking at this would be like, wait a minute, did he just say, and let me just play a few seconds of that again, because
are going to cost the rest of us our livelihoods, our well-being, and our peace of mind, all because you don't want to be told what to do.
All because you don't want to be told what to do. And then he says, here's what you need to do. It's very strange.
Right,
it's like, okay, you just told us it's because we don't want to be told, and then you're telling us to do it. So
Well,
do you not see that you're walking into you are the problem instead of the other people? Anyway.
Well, exactly. Take another step back from it, go a little bit further out. And what he's saying is, oh my gosh, play it one more time. Play it one more time. No, I just
Freedom
want to
to
get
live
it right.
our lives free from the fear that you are going to cost the rest of us our livelihoods, our well-being, and our peace of mind, all because you don't want to be told what to do. Well, you know what?
You don't want to be told what to do. You're going to cost us our livelihoods. What he's talking about there is lockdowns. So what he's saying is...
I think it's beyond lockdowns. I think he means people are going to die. Like,
well, I think they're using people dying because the only people who are going to die is the unvaccinated, and they don't really care about the lives of the unvaccinated, as he said right there. He's talking about livelihoods, and what he's talking about is lockdowns and other measures like that. So what he's saying is Now, he is the media, but what he's saying is the government will lock us down and break the economy again if you don't get vaccinated. So it's just such a twisty, turvy thing he does here. And it's so complicated that you're not even supposed to understand it. You're not supposed to think about it as much as we've done here.
I know, yeah.
What you're supposed to do is walk away feeling guilty and confused.
Yeah, and then lining up to get the jab. Shut off your brain and go get stabbed.
Get the vax, and you won't be confused anymore. You won't feel guilty. Everything will be fine.
Yeah, this sentiment is not unique to this reporter here. I know someone last year when everything started locking down, somebody pretty close to my family, who was complaining to me that he walked by a baseball park and none of the people playing had masks, and he was just like, well, it's just annoying because here I'm trying to comply and do the right thing, and I thought to myself, do the right thing. That's interesting that there's like this moral thing attached to this
element, and the moral element being set by the government,
and mainstream news anchors.
It's crazy.
We need to keep moving here because we got other clips.
I do want to give real quick a shout out to Janderson8246 on Twitch that says it puts the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again. Because that's exactly what we are dealing with. Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty egregious. That's not the only one. There's this one, Anderson Cooper. And this is about the CDC recommending everyone to wear masks in schools regardless of vaccination status.
I also think that the CDC that was really important that maybe hasn't gotten as much media attention is around testing, because the CDC also today said that if you are vaccinated but asymptomatic and now you're exposed to somebody who has COVID-19, you should be tested, you should still be quarantining. And I think that's really important for people to know because the guidance really has changed substantially today.
Wait a minute, can you just repeat that? So if you are vaccinated and you've been exposed to somebody who has COVID, what should you do?
Before the CDC said...
Is that not the worst acting job? Come on, Anderson Pooper.
Who has COVID? What should you do?
Before the CDC said that if you're vaccinated and you're exposed but you don't have symptoms, you don't need to be tested. You don't need to be quarantining. Right now, the CDC is essentially admitting we don't really know. With the Delta variant, if you are exposed to it, we don't know what is the likelihood that you could be asymptomatic, still carrying the virus and be able to transmit it to others. And so they are recommending in that case that people should be testing and quarantining.
So more tests, even if you're vaccinated, I guess, more tests, and also mask indoors and social distance and. Next phase of all this locking down. And it's pretty egregious. I don't know.
Even if you're vaccinated, you still have to do everything that you would have to do if you weren't vaccinated.
Yeah, and this one...
they wonder why people aren't rushing out to get it.
And, we've been on this little hunt to track down the source of the 99% and now the 97% and, all these numbers. And we haven't been able to truly nail down where they're getting it. I think we might have a reason for that. Well, we have, but it hasn't been.
It's just the White House.
the White House, or it's
a press briefing,
or it's a scientific paper that hasn't been published or peer reviewed.
From
other
China.
than that, and there's another one from China, Guangdong, China. But we might get an answer as to why. Pay close attention. This is CNN again with Dr. Gupta. And this is Biden considering mandatory vaccination for all federal workers.
I'm vaccinated. Why do I need to wear a mask?
Mm-hmm. Why do I need to wear it? So this is what they're saying. The new thing here, we've known for some time that vaccination rates aren't where they should be. We've known for some time that the Delta variant has become dominant. We already knew that. So what changed now is your question. What the new data that the CDC is talking about basically states that someone who is a vaccinated person who develops an infection, a so-called breakthrough infection, could be carrying the same viral load, the same amount of virus in their nose or mouth as someone who is an unvaccinated infected individual. So vaccinated infected, unvaccinated infected, they may carry the same amount of virus. It does not mean that that vaccinated person is getting sick. It does not necessarily mean that that anything else is sort of different in terms of how the vaccines work. It still works really well at keeping that person from getting sick. But could they still transmit? That is what Dr. Walensky is talking about, this idea that it's possible. It's rare because the breakthrough infections aren't that common in the first place. So what we're talking about is not something that would happen frequently. But I think as the curves go up and we're going into the fall, I think they've decided that they want to introduce this indoor vaccinated masking again.
They've decided. It's a kind of an interesting tell.
Fall, I think they've decided that they want to introduce this indoor vaccinated masking again to try and get control of this. This should not suggest, again, just to reiterate, that the vaccines don't work. I feel very comfortable that I'm not going to get very sick, even if I do develop some symptoms. But what's new here, again, Jake, according to Dr. Walensky, this is data that hasn't even been published yet. But basically, they found enough evidence to say that even if
data that hasn't even been published yet.
Right. Yeah. So they're just, there's no published data. He just said it. There's no published data on this number.
There's no
it could
published
be just
data.
Whatever Walensky just wants to say.
It's just crazy how they admit that on live national TV. They're like, based on data that hasn't been published.
You know,
it's like,
that was a great catch. That is a hard catch because he does expertly just swoosh right through that.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he meant to say it.
I don't know. Let's finish out the rest of it here.
What's new here, again, Jake, according to Dr. Walensky, this is data that hasn't even been published yet. But basically, they found enough evidence to say that even if you were vaccinated and developed one of these breakthrough infections, you could carry enough of a viral load to potentially spread it the way that an unvaccinated infected person would.
This is a magical virus. Can you believe that? You get vaccinated, you have the infection, but you're just immune. But then you can also spread it just as much as somebody who's unvaccinated. It's magical.
Gons. It's even better than a magical virus. It's a magical vaccine.
I know. It's powerful.
What other vaccine makes you immune or whatever the correct scientific word is to something, but you can still spread it? I mean, what other? Imagine if the polio vaccine.
I know. Anything else? The flu. Anything.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And they have flip-flopped on this vaccinated super spreader thing. Oh, at least a half a dozen times.
Of course.
That we've tracked on this show. They flip-flop every dang week, every month at least, on this super spreader vaccinated people. But wow, good catch. Yeah, just admitted right on television.
On TV.
At least we don't have to keep seeking around.
I know.
For it.
Thank you. I don't know if they're ever going to publish it. They don't have to. They could just say unpublished
really
data.
Easy.
It's crazy.
Every episode for weeks we've been trying to track down this elusive number, and he just admits it right on TV. It's just a number. It's not public. You won't see any data.
Don't try to verify any of this.
Yeah,
We're just.
Don't even worry about it. The science doesn't matter. Walensky says it. It's unpublished.
Basically, what they found was his quote. So, okay. All right. There you go. A few stories in the news as well. The New York Times, vaccine makers are asked to expand safety studies on children The FDA wants Pfizer and Moderna to increase the number of 5 to 11-year-olds who participate in trials of the coronavirus vaccine to ensure there's enough data about rare side effects.
Yeah, jeez.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, some parents will just be happy to give up their 5 to 11-year-olds as literal admitted. This is not me being a crazy conspiracy theorist. They literally say we want more 5 to 11-year-olds to get vaccinated so we can have more data on on the side effects.
Data that they may never publish, but also tell you that we need to lock down and wear masks and social distance.
Look, we are not theorizing. He's literally saying we need parents, please give us your 5 to 11-year-olds to get vaccinated because we need to see how it affects them because we don't know. Will you donate your child as a guinea pig to science?
Well, listen,
it's just what they're saying.
I know. I mean, listen to what they say here in the article. At the urging of federal regulators, 2 coronavirus vaccine makers are expanding the size of their studies in children ages 5 to 11, a precautionary measure intended to detect rare side effects, including heart inflammation problems that turned up in vaccinated people younger than 30.
Yeah.
Who's going to read that and go, oh, yeah, let me volunteer my 5 to 11-year-olds, just in case, for the greater good of humanity, just risk heart inflammation problems.
Dude, do you have the Gates right into the veins jingle anywhere?
Oh, you know what? Here it is.
We're taking things that are genetically modified organisms and we're injecting them in little kids' arms. We just shoot them right into the vein, right into the vein, right into the vein.
Thanks, Drunk Smash called it out on Twitch. Good catch, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of this show, folks. We're not here to theorize or make things up or give any disinfo. We should have a disclaimer at the top. Any disinformation given by this show is given directly from the mainstream media. So if you're trying to ban us from some platform, take it up with what's his name? Anderson Cooper. It's his fault. It's not our fault.
Yeah, it says here that appearing on television at a town hall style meeting in Ohio last week, President Biden said the emergency clearance for pediatric vaccines would come soon.
Need time.
And multiple people familiar, blah, blah, blah. There's not much more to this. FDA asked companies to include 3,000 children. That's the other part. It's like the FDA is like, hey, Pfizer, Moderna, we need more children blood data. And, they're like 3,000 children. Not enough. We need more.
Oh, God. That's crazy talk. You're just trying to get kicked off of Twitter now. Well, I
already am.
I got a quick little story here from Cal State.
Oh, yes.
It's from calstate.edu, and the headline reads, California State University to implement COVID-19 vaccination requirement for fall 2021 term. The California State University announced today that it will require faculty, staff, and students who are accessing campus facilities at any university location to be immunized against SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID-19 because of evolving circumstances. The university has announced the pending requirement now without waiting for any further action by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. Dates by which faculty, staff, and students must certify vaccination will vary by campus due to differences in academic calendars, but all certifications must be completed no later than September. Sorry. Oh, I got the show hiccups. No later than September 30th. Quote, the current surge in COVID cases due to the spread of the highly infectious Delta variant is an alarming new factor that we must consider as we look to maintain the health and well-being of students, blah, 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 blah.
Well,
so there you go.
There's a point in here that, was it in this article? I think, did you already read it? Yeah. You already read it. So, instead of waiting for any direction from the FDA, the Cal State was just like, let's just make it mandatory. Let's just go ahead and do it.
Yeah. What's so funny is there's all this talk about these crazy anti-vaxxers or vaccine hesitant, and we're tired of them. We're tired of them not giving up their body to this new thing. We're tired of them not being told what to do, and we're tired of them making the government be mean to us. It's like 50% of the entire country is unvaccinated.
Yeah.
Like, this is not a small subset of people. And I think that's something we have to remember when talking about this stuff, is because they talk about unvaccinated people as if they are a small contingent of crazy extremists who are hiding out in the forest and shooting guns or whatever. But it's almost 50% of the population.
Yeah.
Like, it is not a small contingent. It is an enormous group of people from across the spectrum. And for them to be characterizing it as a radical minority is just disingenuous.
Yeah, and it does seem like when you read all because the media, a lot of the mainstream media, the main institutions, they're all in solidarity. And so, because it's coming from up on high, if you talk about appeal to authority, it seems like, the majority is on their side, but that's not the case.
I know. You got to remember that. And I say that mostly, to people who are vaccine hesitant. Like, they're trying to make you feel alone. They're isolating you. They're trying to make you feel like you're part of this weird little group that is so unusual. But the fact of the matter is that I think they're over 50% vaccinated now, but you are at least 40% of the entire population who is technically unvaccinated. So it's just, I think that's part of what makes people so upset at these reports, is that it's like, yo, you're not talking to like a handful of people. You're talking to half the country.
And also
alienating half of the entire country with the way you're talking.
Well, this is a pretty bold move for Cal State too, because how many people are going to leave and just be like, forget it, let me go to junior college or go some other route with education. But also, it's kind of like, I don't know, financially, isn't that risky to make this a requirement?
That's another great point.
Yeah.
Well, how corrupt and horrible has the student loan situation gotten?
Oh, yeah.
In just our lifetime gone. The student loan apparatus has these kids going to Cal State taking out hundreds of thousands of dollars of loans to get a degree that will let them be a teacher and earn $30K a year or something.
Yeah.
And so not only this is an entire
little cutting out there
to get into it now, but
you're cutting out a little bit.
The future of education is not having. Oh, hold on. Check. How am I doing?
Yeah, it's still a little choppy.
Check 1, 2, 2.
Yeah, a little choppy.
Okay, we did a reconnect real quick.
Okay. All right. So I think his point where there was about the education, the debt that a lot of college students already walk into, and then on top of that, they're demanding vaccines. It'll probably be a turnoff for a lot of people who aren't already vaccinated, and there is an economic consequence for all of this, and we'll just have to see how it all plays out. But this was sent to us by somebody, a producer. We'll keep the producer anonymous. But they were they were they were in their last. I think they were saying that they have like a quarter or two left or something. It would really, it would be tough if they are forced to get a vaccination to graduate, even when they're on their last, little bit before they graduate, and then that would be bad if they.
Yeah,
made it mandatory and you couldn't graduate unless you got the vaccine, which is like, wow, okay, whoa. So praying for that producer.
That is, and am I back?
Kind of. Is still a little choppy.
Am I back or not back?
You're back, but just talk and we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, you sound like a robot. Let's do one more reconnect. Okay. I'm sorry to put a speed bump.
Okay.
But
all right, do it. Oh, the live shows. So much fun. Where is it? There it is. Weird.
Check.
Yeah, you sound clear. That time, usually Skype has a little pop-up with the call answer thing. It didn't pop up that time,
Yeah.
so I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, weird. Well, you sound better now. So, yeah, anywho, sounds like you already is. Yeah, the student loan apparatus has already enslaved people for life. I mean, if you die, your student loan gets passed on to your next of kin.
I know.
You can't, there's no way out of these student loans, and no bankruptcy, no death, no nothing. And so, yeah, I mean, is that, I think the point, it's not even a question. The point is the future of education is not a diploma from a university. I don't know how far out that future is.
Another dropout.
Enslaved. But no, that not only, oh no.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Having some problems.
Well, we might be, anywho, I guess we talk about the education system.
Yeah, people listening later on to the RSS feed might get a cleaner feed because you're recording your end, right?
They will.
Okay.
Yeah, I apologize. Yeah, I forget about the RSS feed. All right, let's keep going. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think we understand. All right, so this is just a little thing to point out here. So this is exit.al, and it's an Albanian outlet, and it says Albania signs new vaccine agreement with Pfizer for undisclosed amount. Now this story is from back in June 18th. And you see the little graphic here that the Albanian Ministry of Health has reached an agreement with U.S. pharmaceutical company Pfizer for an as-yet undisclosed amount of COVID-19 vaccines. And somebody was sharing this document here, and I think it was, I think it came from one of these articles, but it's basically a PDF, and it says confidential, but it was published. The draft of a manufacturing and supply agreement, Pfizer export, Albania Ministry of Health and Social Protection, Minister of State for Reconstruction, and Institute of Public Health. So it's kind of like the agreement, document between Albania and Pfizer. And there's a little segment here for efficacy. Oh, let me just I gotta do a word search. I gotta find it here. And it's a purchaser acknowledgement. And under the purchaser acknowledgement, it says purchaser acknowledges that the vaccine and material related to the vaccine and their components and constituent materials are being rapidly developed due to the emergency circumstance of the COVID-19 pandemic and will continue to be studied after provision of the vaccine to purchaser under this agreement. And here's the line. Purchaser further acknowledges that the long-term effects and efficacy of the vaccine are not currently known, and that there may be adverse effects of the vaccine that are not currently known. This is part of the acknowledgement. So right. Albania has to, and this is part of the protection for Pfizer too, legally. But that's what's kind of egregious about this whole thing, just in general. And this we're pointing out Albania here, but it applies to the whole world, which is that we kind of said, oh yeah, we agree. The same way, we sort of skipped all the legal stuff when you sign up for Facebook or Twitter or whatever, and they're like, hey, we can use your data and monetize your information. And we were like, yeah, go ahead. We want to use the platform. It's kind of similar where it's like in the document, it's like, if you sign this, you agree that, there could be long-term effects, there could be efficacy issues, there could be adverse effects. And later, if there are, and that you come complain to us, hey, you acknowledged it. You signed off on it.
Yeah.
That's just to point that out.
This is no surprise.
It's not really a surprise, but I think it's important to point out. Oh, you talking?
Yeah, it is in the legal document. So you can't make the case that it's totally safe. But as we've been told by the media over and over again, if no data exists, then we're just going to assume that it's best case scenario,
Right.
which is totally opposite of how things should be handled just in life in general, but also in science.
Yeah.
If the data does not exist, that is not an invitation to just assume the best case scenario will happen. But, with when you are legally indemnified like Pfizer, who has been repeatedly criminally prosecuted, not just prosecuted, but convicted. It's a criminal organization. They seem to have things wrapped up nice and tight. They don't really care.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of strange documents, Gons,
Yes.
I see you have one more here.
Yeah.
I am very curious about this, and I'm going to begin by saying I find it dubious.
Well, here's the thing. It comes from brooks.house.gov. Now, on the surface, a .gov cannot be issued to just anybody. You can't just like be a random guy and get issued a .gov. So, keeping that in mind, I did read through this whole thing. It's a 6-pager. We're not going to go through the whole thing, but let me read a little bit.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Real quick, further on that line, I did go back a bit to brooks.house.gov.
I know. I was going to get there. To that point.
Okay. You got a whole thing. Take me through. Hold my hand. Guide me.
Okay. So it says here, July 19th, 2021. At the top, it says confidential. And then in handwriting, it says released with permission. And it says Chinese medical doctor and PhD virologist Dr. Li Mengyan exposes man-manipulated COVID-19 as part of China's comprehensive unrestricted bioweapons program. Pretty extensive claims there that checks off all the boxes of suspicions of the right-wing conservative types. And the highlights and bullet points here, and I won't read all of them, I'll just kind of go through some of it here. Dr. Li Mengyan is a medical doctor, PhD virologist, and renowned independent coronavirus expert. Dr. Yan fled Hong Kong to inform and warn the world about China's virus weaponization program, specifically as it relates to SARS-CoV-2, COVID-19. Her initial warning on January 19th, 2020 forced the CCP to develop a false narrative about the origin of the virus. Now, already, when I read this, I was like, because it says she fled Hong Kong. Hong Kong wasn't taken over until the end of last year, wasn't it? Officially? Because I know there's been turmoil for years, but you're not fleeing Hong Kong until, the last 6 months or so. And it says here January 19th, 2020. Was when she initially warned.
It's a little early for the takeover. Yeah, the takeover. Now, they have, you're right. They have been trying to retake control of Hong Kong.
Yeah, I know it's been
years.
A thing. I know it's been
to flee, you just need to be chased. Who knows? Maybe somebody's chasing her.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. But yeah, that is weird timing.
Next bullet point. Dr. Yan has met with the FBI on 4 occasions. Once on April 28th, 2020, upon her arrival in the U.S., later in early May 2020, and in late October 2020, with an FBI virologist who had read her reports. Sources inside the FBI confirm that she is considered credible. As described in Dr. Yan's first report, evidence reveals that there is more than one gain-of-function characteristic in the COVID-19 virus, the Farron cleavage site being a specific example intended to increase the virulence of the virus in humans. It is well documented that the CCP has both the intention and the capability to weaponize viruses. The current example demonstrably evidenced in the COVID-19 virus. COVID-19 is part of a larger, more comprehensive, unrestricted bioweapons program of the Chinese military. And it goes on and on and on, about the issues and the problems here. Now, yes, as you did, I went to brooks.house.gov to find out what government individual or person or whoever is this document published on. And it's published on Congress Mo Brooks' website. That's why it's brooks.house.gov. And you go to the About Me section. And this is Alabama public has voted to elect Republican Congressman Mo Brooks to public office 14 times. And Mo Brooks is part, he is, let's see, House of Representatives 1982. So, not a lifelong, but a longtime politician looks like a Republican, and representing your 5th district of Alabama. He's a congressman. So there you go. That's the website where this document was published through. That's why I'm kind of
also
skeptical.
Want to mention.
Yeah, go ahead.
Have you? Well, okay. So hold on. The entire link for this document is brooks.house.gov/sites/brooks.house.gov/files/square bracket untitled (1.pdf). So it's an untitled PDF. And if you go to his actual website and kind of poke around in his resources, so this is allegedly uploaded to his website, but I cannot find how you would navigate to this file through his website. So it's not like a publicly available line of provenance that you can find. And the file is called Untitled 1. And there's nothing on this document. You don't even know where this document comes from. There's no letterhead. There's nobody signed it. Nobody is claiming to be the originator of the document. Nothing. Honestly,
it's cutting out so bad. I can't even hear I can't hear anything you're saying.
They do not want me to uncover the truth about this document. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you coming through.
Okay, so you cannot navigate to this document just by going to his thing. It is fully possible that somebody could surreptitiously use some cyber warfare and upload this document to his website. Partially, I now go to Twitter, and I just looked up Mo Brooks. The first tweets that are coming out about Mo Brooks is Reuters, U.S. Justice Department. Oh, now it's gone. Oh, my gosh. It just updated. Hold on. Oh, no. Don't do this to me. So, long story short, Eric Swalwell, his insurrection lawsuit does target Mo Brooks. And Mo Brooks has given up his immunity from Eric Swalwell's legal case.
Ah, interesting.
So Mo Brooks is in the crosshairs of Eric Swalwell on the January 6th insurrection suit. There is a possibility that some unseen cyber criminal uploaded this to some strange, file database thing on his WordPress site, and it might be used as evidence that he's a crazy conspiracy theorist, and he called for an insurrection on January 6th, because it's just very strange. It's called Untitled 1 with no provenance on this document. And with Mo Brooks being a target who is not immune from the January 6th legal battle, I don't know. Something smells fishy, man. I don't know what it is. This whole thing is fishy.
Yeah, I agree with you. I just wonder, it's tough because it would be very. I mean, I guess hackers can do everything, but it would be challenging, I would imagine, to upload a document like this just for the sake of some kind of blackmail or some kind of,
Yeah, it wouldn't be that challenging.
You don't think so?
I don't know. I know it would not be challenging. Depending on the level of cybersecurity that Brooks's team is using, this is a very... Well, I won't say very easy, but any hacker worth their salt can upload something to some weird back-end portion of your site. And looking at this site, I am assuming that Congressman Mo Brooks does not necessarily have the highest budget for his website. So I don't know. This is interesting. I mean, I'm very suspicious that, first of all, It's called Untitled One. There's no naming on the document. Nobody signed the document. Nobody's name. You have no idea where it came from. It's an uploaded scan of a document with highlights on it. And the fact that, this could be used in court on this January 6th legal battle. My instincts tell me that he does not know that this is on his website.
That may be true. I don't really disagree with you there.
Yeah.
It kind of depends. Let me just see.
Why
here.
would he connect it to himself? Like, if he really wanted to get this out, why would you connect this to yourself? And if you did want to connect it to yourself, why not put it on the front page of your website?
Well,
why not make it accessible?
I'm seeing a press release here by Mo Brooks. Let's see. Here we go. Congressman Mo Brooks, this is straight off his website. Congressman Mo Brooks reports on interview with Dr. Li Meng Yan regarding COVID-19 and Communist China bioweapons program. So,
you found it?
Yeah.
Where is it?
It's, you want me to send it to you?
Yes, send me a link. Send me a link.
Okay, hold on. Let me, come on. Select. Come on, computer. There it is.
Come on, computer.
Computer.
Be nice, computer.
Computer, give me.
Computer, send link.
Send link. And it says here, Congressman Brooks said, quote, "The evidence is overwhelming that the Communist Chinese Party negligently, recklessly, or intentionally released COVID-19 on the world. Moreover, China engaged in a massive disinformation and propaganda campaign to cover up their misdeeds, yada, yada, yada. Click here to view Dr. Yan's report, and it takes you to the document." There you go. I found it.
You found it.
I found it.
Okay, well, I take back everything I said.
Well, good. It was cutting out anyway.
Okay,
maybe that was the Lord.
Yeah, maybe
interfering with the connection.
Blah blah blah. As much as... Oh, it's under Media Center. Okay.
Yeah. So there you go. I mean, again, the contents, I'm not necessarily. Well, there is. Even still,
July 20th, 2021.
Couple weeks ago.
This is fairly new. No, this is 1 week ago.
So to your skepticism, though, the document says, "Oh, this doctor spoke to the FBI on multiple occasions," and the FBI. We don't trust the FBI much. You know what I mean? So this could be very much a setup, a take the bait kind of thing to set up Mo Brooks. It doesn't have to be secretively uploaded to his website. It could very much be, hey,
COINTELPRO.
It could be the same thing as, "Hey, Trump, you should do a little rally at the Capitol there. It'll be great. The people will be cheering and whatever."
I mean, what a better setup for a Chinese defector, quote unquote, Chinese defector, find their way to Congressman Mo Brooks.
Out of all the people,
a Chinese defector just happens to connect with Mo Brooks, who is already being investigated for the January 6th insurrection. Why did this Chinese defector not find somebody else? And it's still fishy.
It is still fishy. I think your suspicions overall are correct, but maybe he's in deeper than he realizes.
Yeah, well, basically, this is just another version of a honeypot.
Well, the other thing, too, is the information can be all true.
Wait.
You know what I mean?
Wasn't it Eric Swalwell who got honeypotted?
I can't. Yeah, maybe.
Hold on. Let me look this up.
Yeah, I'm looking it up, too.
Okay. I don't want to... I'm not sure if it was him.
He was caught up in an investigation of a honeypot operation by the communist superpower.
Yeah.
Targeted Americans.
What was her name? Fin or something?
Fin, yeah. Or something.
Hold on.
Fang.
Bang Fang. That's what it is. So, for those who forget, Eric Swalwell, who is the guy bringing the investigation and the spearheading the legal battle for the January 6th thing, which Mo Brooks is a target of. Eric Swalwell got honeypotted by a CCP girlfriend. Now, for those who don't know, a honeypot is an espionage term where, one spy basically romances another spy, not another spy, but a politician or whoever. Anybody can get honeypotted if you think about it. So Eric Swalwell famously got honeypotted like last year is when it was being reported. So this might be Mo Brooks getting honeypotted with a fake Chinese defector. Not a classic honeypot, more like a
appeal to authority, not love.
A sweet and sour bottle.
That's racist.
With some COINTEL. Well, you know what, Guns? If you think so, it must be.
I am totally kidding.
So I don't know. I think Mo Brooks got honeypotted, and Eric Swalwell, who knows a lot about honeypotting, he may have something to do with it.
Yeah, and again,
I don't know, folks.
I think some of the information may be true that China, has bioweapons programs and all this stuff. But if the information is going to come out, why not do it in a way where you can take down your political enemies?
Yep. Wow. I mean, we already know he was compromised, so he's the perfect guy to pull this off. Wow. All right. Well, we solved that one.
Yep. That's what we do on the show. Real quick, and this is because of the title of the episode here. Move from bioweapons to this document here. This is a globenewswire.com, and it's a press release by ENOCHIAN Biosciences.
Ooh.
Do you know there's a company called ENOCHIAN Biosciences?
No, but I can't say I'm surprised.
ENOCHIAN Biosciences names the Han, Dr. Mark Dybul, D-Y-B-U-L, Dybul, as Chief Executive Officer. ENOCHIAN Biosciences has a new CEO, Basil. ENOCHIAN Biosciences, a company focused on gene-modified cellular and immune therapies and infectious diseases and cancer, today announced that Honorable Mark Dybul, MD, has been named as Chief Executive Officer. He was the Executive Vice Chair of the Board of the ENOCHIAN Biosciences since January 2019. During his tenure, the program grew from approximately $500 million to $6.5 billion annually. Holy moly. Dr. Dybul went on to transform the Global Fund to fight AIDS, tuberculosis, and malaria. And during Dr. Dybul's 4-year tenure, both President Barack Obama and Prime Minister Justin Trudeau hosted funding rounds that raised $25 billion for the Global Fund. He is deeply involved in the fight against COVID-19. Of course he is. He was the only American appointed to the 15-member independent panel for pandemic preparedness and response mandated by the World Health Assembly and co-chaired by former Liberian President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and former New Zealand Prime Minister Helen Clark. Dr. Dybul also was a member of the high-level scientific advisory group for the G20's Global Health Summit focused on COVID-19. He's basically in. The only thing they haven't mentioned here is he also went to Bilderberg and to Bohemian Grove to be initiated. And here's the thing. Under the mentorship of Dr. Anthony Fauci, Dr. Dybul began his career in public health as a researcher at the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, ultimately leading a section of Dr. Fauci's lab and serving as the assistant director for medical affairs. He's really plugged in. I mean, he got his career start. Fauci kickstarted his career. And it says a little bit more about him. A couple quotes about how he worked closely with Fauci. And then a quote from Dr. Dybul, based on elegantly brilliant science. Brilliant science. We've made significant progress in the past 18 months, building a deep and wide pipeline with platforms that address major killers, including cancer and infectious diseases. The recent acceleration of potential cures for hepatitis B, HIV, and potential inhaled pan-coronavirus, including the cause of COVID-19 and pan-influenza treatment and prevention, makes it an extremely exciting time to become the CEO of ENOCHIAN Biosciences. I don't know, man. There's got to be, talking about spiritual imprints on things, you have to be a little, my opinion, a little bit sociopathic maybe, to be super excited to become the CEO of ENOCHIAN Biosciences while they fight all these.
Super excited about that Fauci paycheck.
I'm sure he is. But it's kind of interesting because you go to the Book of Enoch here, and it talks about in 65 verse 6. And this is again Book of Enoch, so not the Bible, but still pretty relevant. And a command has gone out from the Lord against those who dwell upon the dry ground, that this must be their end, for they have learnt all the secrets of the angels and all the wrongdoings of Satan, and all their secret power, and all the power of those who practice magic arts, and the power of enchantments, and the power of those who cast molten images from all the earth. So, there's that aspect of judgment written in the Book of Enoch. But then you get into the Enochian magic. You know about Enochian magic, right, Basil? The Golden Dawn, Ancient Mysteries. And in the year 1858, Dr. John Dee and Edward Kelly were trying to, tap into the Enochian, the ancient language of the Enochian magicians and whatever. And apparently, according to history, and I think John Dee was like an assistant to the Queen or something like that, so he's pretty high up too. And he one of the biggest breakthroughs is the rediscovery of the lost secrets of the Enochian language. And he claimed, I talked about this in Age of Deceit too, but he basically claims that he channeled this lost language and it started to flow out of him, and it was all this Enochian magic, and he was trying to rediscover the hidden secrets of the angels, which the Book of Enoch says is hey, God's going to judge you because, the people learned of all these enchantments and the secret dealings of the angels and stuff. And here you have, several thousands of years later, or hundreds of years since the Dr. John Dee and Edward Kelly channeling of spirits to take down the Enochian magic language. Enochian Biosciences, the scientific elite to cure all the things, all the things.
Yeah.
HIV, tuberculosis, malaria, everything is. We're going to solve it all with our Enochian magic. So pretty interesting.
Well, good for him. He's pretty excited about it.
Super excited. Elegantly brilliant science. You mean magic with a K? You mean occult magic? Is that what you're talking about? Anyway, sorry.
Gons, you crazy conspiracy
I know,
theorist.
I'm sorry. It's just personal opinions, and opinions are like armpits.
Yeah, well, with that, I think we should take a little break.
It's break time! Come on, take a break.
All right, folks, we're just going to take a really quick break, and that's because we want to thank some producers. You may have noticed no advertisements, no affiliate codes, no freedom phones, no male vitality supplements. Nope, we're taking no corporate money whatsoever, nor are we trying to convince you to purchase our very own Chinese-made freedom phone. No, folks, it's called the value for value model, and it's very simple. We create some value. We do it 3 times a week, even in the most inconvenient of circumstances across the globe, connecting to bring you this show today. And when we give you that value, you have the opportunity to put some value back into the system. It's the only way that it works. It's the only way to keep corporate money out of the greedy little pockets of your favorite podcasters. Because, as we know, every corporate sponsorship is a form of censorship. Nope, we have no advertisers telling us what we can and cannot say. We have no advertisers rewarding us for repeating any messages that are being rewarded. No. We are simply creating the value, putting it back in there. And if you get any value out of what we do, you have the opportunity to participate in the propagation of the media that you trust and enjoy. And it's simple as that. If you want the show to keep going, become a producer and support the show. And that's what you are. You're a producer. It's not just donations. It's just not just charity. It's also becoming a producer of the show, because this is the real world. When you pay to have a piece of media produced, you are a producer. And you know what? I recommend everybody try becoming a producer once in their lives. It feels good. Gonz and I participate in the value for value model with shows that we enjoy, and it brings a lot of satisfaction. I'm not going to say that it'll magically make you happy or it will solve all your problems, but there's a strange satisfaction knowing that your attention and your trust is not being sold to an advertiser. Just for instance, we're not Ben Shapiro trying to sell you waffles or trying to sell you life insurance after we tell you how you're going to die unless you get a vaccine. No. It's all value for value. So we recommend you give it a try. Become a producer. Do it just once. See how it makes you feel. And I believe that there is a sense of spiritual freedom that comes from disconnecting from the shackles that the advertising industry has on the world today. And they are shackles, and they are strong. Every piece of media that you watch or listen to that has advertisements is not free. It's not free in the freedom sense, and it's not free in the monetary sense. You are paying with your very consciousness, the very limited opportunity you have in your life to partake of quality, free content is stolen from you by those advertisers. Gonz, you have anything to add?
I do. I have a and for those of you who's sticking around during the break, just a little more content for you in the context of advertising. Norman Lear passed away.
Oh, big deal.
Big deal. Norman Lear, I think he was almost 100. I think he was 99. For those of you who don't know who he was basically the liaison between the intelligence agency and Hollywood. I mean, this man... Agencies, yeah.
The intelligence apparatus.
Yeah. This man was very much responsible for... And for a lot of... You talk about the lefty, woke Hollywood. I would say almost entirely from the influence of Norman Lear. Just on his wiki page here... he was born in 1922. Holy moly. Yeah. There's a section here that I highlighted to just give you an example of what kind of stuff he was into. In 1981, Lear founded People for the American Way, a progressive advocacy organization formed to oppose the Christian right. PFAW ran several advertising campaigns opposing the interjection of religion in politics. PFAW succeeded in stopping Reagan's 1987 nomination of Robert Bork to the Supreme Court. Lear has long been a vocal critic of the ideas held by the conservatives and Christians and has advocated for the advancement of secularism. So very directly anti-Christian. Like no, wishy-washy thing about it. And he is I guess he was Jewish, and he was his family were followers of Orthodox Judaism. It's kind of interesting how he's like, I promote secularism, but he was kind of...
that is interesting. He comes from an Orthodox background. And, switched over to the secular side of things.
He described himself, according to the Jewish Journal of Greater Los Angeles, Lear described himself as a, quote, total Jew, but never a practicing one. So... Kind of interesting. And for those of you in the show notes, there will be a bunch of links to some of his stuff here. There was you go to the learcenter.org. There's a little thing called Advertising Technology and the Future of Media. And they talk about the future of advertising and how technology is disrupting, how advertising works and digital content. And this was, I think, back in 2010-ish when they published this. So, you can tell that the influence really took hold as, we moved into the Trump era. And he's notoriously anti-Trump. And I found another article from the New York Times, August 2nd, 1989. The headline was "The Media Business, Advertising, Jobs Shuffle at Industry Publications." And they quote here, or the article says here, Act 3 Publishing, the New York-based company founded by the producer Norman Lear, confirmed that it hired David Person and Lawrence Oliver, currently the vice president publisher and associate publisher, respectively, of Advertising Age. Ad Age. It's a pretty big institution. I don't know if it's still big. It must be doing something these days too. But they basically influenced a lot of the marketing and media decisions in magazines, and big time, just overthrowing a lot of what they used to do. If you look at his philanthropy, normanlear.com, he was he was supporting places like Planned Parenthood. And, this is a really bad name for a group. The Rape Foundation.
What?
I've never heard of him either, but Norman Lear supported the Rape Foundation.
That's not great.
No, it doesn't sound great at all.
That is not a great look.
No, and Youth Represent. I don't know what he's into there. And one last thing, there's a learcenter.org PDF called Who Can Be Trusted? And it's a whole conference because the Norman Lear School was at USC, University of Southern California. And there's a whole section here where it basically tells you how to keep anonymous sources and stuff if you're in media. And there's a quote here it's not by Norman Lear, it's by one of the people speaking at this thing with the PDF, or, that eventually became this PDF. And the quote is, when readers begin to wonder whether sources are reliable, it's not a big step for them to wonder if stories and news broadcasts are credible. And this person says, I'll take a page from my own experience as a Washington reporter. Not long after joining the New York Times in 1979, I was given the dubious honor of covering the CIA and other intelligence agencies. I say dubious not because it was an obscure beat, far from it, but because the idea of getting anyone who knew anything about America's spy agencies to talk to me was the equivalent in those days of the Red Sox winning a World Series. And the quote here, other than stories about congressional reports or declassified documents, every story I wrote during this period was attributed to unnamed intelligence officials. So, I mean, they basically admit how much the intelligence apparatus influenced places like the New York Times and, other news agencies. So I don't know. It's a very interesting rabbit trail if you don't know much about the Lear Foundation and the influence this man had in Hollywood and advertising. I think that's a big one of the reason why we're talking about him. Go down the rabbit trail.
He was a huge deal. Yeah, very interesting. Well, there you go, folks. And that's why we are going to thank some producers today. And we will start out. We usually start out with thanking producers who come in on the Patreon. That's patreon.com/CCNT. Patreon.com/CCNT. But today, no new Patreon producers. So we are not thanking them. So thank you to all the previous Patreon producers very much. But that's okay, because if you don't like Patreon, you don't need to use Patreon. That's why we have CanaryCry.Radio.com/support.
CanaryCry.Radio.com/support.
That's right. CanaryCry.Radio.com/support has everything you need to become a producer of the show. First, you can read about the value for value model if that's what you want to do. You can also learn about the round table of knights and dames, or You can support the show with your cryptocurrency. You can support the show on a monthly basis using PayPal. If you just love the show so much, you want to keep it going, and you want a nice set it and forget it option to be a continuous producer of the show. Or if commitment is not your thing, you can go ahead and make a one-time producership in any amount. Gons, who do we have coming in on the PayPal?
On the PayPal, we first want to thank all the knights and dames and producers that support the show with your producership every month. We thank you very much. To start things off here, Dame Lady of the Lakes.
Thank you very much. Dame Lady of the Lakes is our executive producer for this episode 368.
Reached executive.
Sheesh. Thank you very much, Dame Lady of the Lakes. And sends a note here to help Basil with expenses / Wi-Fi outside the cage or in a cage. LOL. Dame Lady of the Lakes. Thank you very much, Dame Lady of the Lakes. For
wrong thing. Yeah, that's what I was trying to do.
Keeping the show going here.
Yes, thank you very much, Dame Lady of the Lakes. Appreciated. And yes, that does cover for the.
That does help. Yeah, you covered it. Thank you.
Yep. Next up, we have producer Vicky S.
Thank you very much, producer Vicky S. And I looked, that seemed like a familiar name. Vicky S is not on a streak, but thank you very much for your producership.
Yep, thank
Vicky
you very
S.
much. No note. Next up, we have Marsha M.
Marsha M coming in with 3415 and a note. Dear Basil and Gons, this amount is in remembrance of Psalm 34:25. I wonder if she just made one little whoopsie doodles on one of those numbers.
I'll check it.
But it goes like this: the eyes of the Lord are over the righteous, and his ears are open to their cry. May God bless you both, as your work is a blessing to many. Thank you very much, producer Marsha M.
Yes, thank you very much. Sorry, I'm trying to check to see if it's
totes.
Yeah, the eyes of the Lord. Yeah, it's 15. Yeah, it's Psalm 34:15. Yeah.
Oh, okay, so it's a note type.
There is no Psalm 34:25. It ends at verse 22. Whoa,
bro. Thank you very much,
typo,
Marsha.
But it's all right. Thank you very much, producer Marsha M. Next up, we have this is Sir Casey, the Shield Knight.
That's right, Sir Casey, the Shield Knight coming in, and Sir Casey is our first streaker of the day.
They're on a streak.
Thank you very much, Sir Casey, coming in 37 episodes in a row. Thank you very much. Wow, that number just keeps going. Very consistent and valiant knight, Sir Casey, the Shield Knight.
Yes. Is there anything else?
Nope. We're waiting for 42.
Oh, okay.
42 is the next one.
Right. All right. Good job, Sir Casey, the Shield Knight. Keep it up. You are, again, the trailblazer.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, producer Malik W.
Thank you very much, producer Malik. Coming in again. Malik W. Maliki Dubs. Oh. Sorry about that, Malik.
Interesting.
Thanks for your support.
Yep. Next up, we have producer Big Tank.
Big Tank is coming in, and he's on a streak. 2 episodes in a row, coming in with a pocket full of 777. And Big Tank says, good morning, gents. Just wanted to reply to let y'all know that, yes, I'm a long-haul trucker.
All right.
I've been blessed to visit coast to coast. Last year, I started a trucker ministry, Christ's Road Warriors, and have the privilege of sharing Jesus with many folks all over our country. Since I found Canary Cry, I've used your weekly content as talking points to start conversations at truck stops. It's awesome to be able to simply share the show when people want to know where I get my info. Big Tank, you're doing it, man. You're doing it. Doing the Lord's work. And also sharing the show. Thank you very much for that also. The note continues, the kingdom work y'all do reaches farther than you can imagine, so it's my pleasure to support the warriors on the front lines. You asked where you had heard my name. I left a podcast review last month. That's right. I knew I remembered you. Keep up the good work, and you have my support. Your fellow warrior for Christ, Big Tank. Woo, thank you very much.
What's your 1020, over? Check in. We got us a convoy, over.
I forgot we had the Canary Cry Truckers jingle. That was great. Okay, thank you very much, Big Tank.
We got to figure out how to get on what is it, CB radio?
Yeah, if we is it CB or is it ham? It's CB, isn't it?
I think it might be CB for truckers, but maybe Big Tank can tell us.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Big Tank. We appreciate it, and you will heat up if you come in on the next one.
Oh yeah, Big Tank's on it.
Yeah. Next up, we have producer Rebecca B.
Thank you very much, Rebecca B. coming in with a pocket full of sevens, and she came in a little late. Oh, yep, there she is, and she's on a streak.
Oh, streak.
Yeah, she's on a streak.
7 episodes in a row. 7 episodes in a row. 777. Great.
All right.
You did it.
It all lines up.
Thank you.
Next up, we have producer James H.
James H is on a streak.
They're on a streak.
$7.18. He has a verse here. Oh, this is Micah 7:18. Who is a God like unto thee that pardoneth iniquity and passeth by the transgression of the remnant of his heritage? He retaineth not his anger forever, because he delighteth in mercy. Micah 7:18. And you guessed it, KJV.
All right. Yep, James Hetfield of Metallica.
Thanks
coming in
very
with
much,
Micah.
James H.
Can you do this next one real quick? I have to open the vent to my AC unit. They want me to check to see
sure
if the
Hit
AC
that
is
streak
working.
jingle real quick and then run like the wind.
It's a Veronica, right?
Yep.
Yeah, she's on a streak.
That's right. Thank you very much, Veronica D. And I don't know how much I'm supposed to stretch this out because there's no note from Veronica D, but she did come in with today's show number producership. That is $3.68. Thank you very much, Veronica D.
That was quick. I jumped up like a ninja onto a chair and I reached up to the ceiling.
We're professionals.
With my uber long arms. Thank you very much, Veronica D.
Gonz has got jumps. Leaps? What is it called?
Hops.
Leaps.
Gonz has leaps.
Like
sounds like a disease.
Like a gazelle prancing through the Sahara. Gonz has got leaps.
Leaps
Nary
and
a leap
bounds.
to be seen.
Oh my gosh. All right. Thank you very much to Veronica D. Next up, we have producer Scott K.
Scott K's on a streak.
They're on a streak.
30 episodes in a row, coming in with show number producership 368. Thank you very much, Scott K.
Thank you very much. Next up, we have Tristan H.
Tristan H is on a streak.
They're on a streak.
24 episodes in a row, coming in with $3.50, the $1 per hour prorated producership. Thank you very much, Tristan H.
Thank you, Tristan H. Keep it up. Next, producer Kim W.
Kimmy Dubs is on a streak.
Yeah, she's on a streak.
22 episodes in a row, coming in with a pocket full of threes and a verse. Matthew 5:25. Agree with your adversary quickly while you are on the way with him, lest your adversary deliver you to the judge hand you over to the officer, and you be thrown into prison. Assuredly, I say to you, you will by no means get out of there till you have paid the last penny. Dun, dun, dun. Thank you very much, Kim Dubs.
Thank you, Kim W. Next, we have Doty the Coyote.
Coyote's back, baby. He's on a streak. $2.50. $2.50. Thank you very much, Doty the Coyote.
$2.50. All right, and last but not least here, Dalton H.
He's back.
He's back. He's back.
Is back, and he has officially been on a 3-episode streak. Which means he's heating up.
He's heating up!
Here we go. Dalton H. coming in with 2 cents. and a note. It goes like this.
Okay. Like, why? I don't know why we're being so dramatic.
Because, Gons, this is an ongoing storyline.
Well, people in the chat were kind of, not feeling it.
Let me say this, my friends, my friend Dalton H. We are sticking around, but the chat is not having any.
The chat is not stoked about you.
Having it, my man. I do not think you are making any friends with this thing you are on. We may have to hand you over to the mob. But I'm here. I'm the one thing, the thin red line, Dalton, between you and the chat room. I will protect you for a little bit longer. He does send a note, and the note says, Basil, please don't mistake my banter towards you bitterly. Okay. Well, ditto, my friend. Here's my third producership of 2 cents, baby. See? I told you it would grow. But what is it growing into? On a side note, PayPal is charging me a fee for every... Dalton, we know about the PayPal fee. He says, Dayton, PayPal is charging me a fee for every transaction of such a minute monetary value. How do you feel about that, Dalton? That you are paying PayPal the same amount that you are paying us? Are we on the same level? Okay. He continues, which is fine because this is so much fun. Dalton. He goes on to say, this time it's a 2 cent PayPal tax. It's not a tax. It's not a tax, Dalton. You're paying PayPal for these little games. But you did say, here's the thing, Dalton. You made it to a 3-episode streak. The chat is turning against you. I know I say your name a lot on the show. You're probably getting way more value out of this than any other producer. But I'm going to give you... You said that there was a secret code in your first 1 cent producership. This code better start expressing itself.
What is it so far? 112.
The code is 1 cent, 1 cent, 2 cents. And so far, the only code that I'm deciphering is that we're going to need to make a minimum requirement for producership. And we have avoided doing this for so long because, as of yet, nobody has taken advantage of our system. But okay, I don't know how much longer to give you, Dalton. I will hold the mob off as long as I can. But this code, something better happen. So code breakers out there, we are sitting at 1 cent, 1 cent, 2 cent. So that is, I don't know what that means.
There's some opinions in the chat too, Mandy. In the chat, cut him loose. There is no code.
They're doubting you, Dalton.
They're doubting you now.
They are doubting you, Dalton. That there is some sort of code. All right.
You know, if you wanted to not pay too much of a fee, you can send it on through Bitcoin. 25 Satoshis is about 1 cent.
It would be more exciting than the 1 cent. I can tell you that much, Dalton.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you to all the producers.
Look, Dalton, for now, I'm sticking with you. We'll see. Part of me thinks perhaps you are secretly Elon Musk and you are testing my patience in order to send me the $1 million. Now, Occam's razor, of course, will tell me that that is probably not the case. But there you go, buddy. There, we've said enough. You've gotten your 2 cents worth. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, continue.
Okay. All right. Are you done?
Dalton?
Is this Hugh Dalton, British Labour Party economist and politician? Oh, did he? Oh, he died.
Have you just been sitting here Googling the name Dalton H?
No. Did it 2 seconds ago.
Is that what you do with your time?
That's enough. Enough.
All right.
All right. Thank you to all the producers, especially Dame Lady of the Lakes, who is our executive producer of today. She deserves more attention than Dalton.
Dalton, yeah. Hold on. We need to go back and really thank you to the executive producer.
And Dame. She's a dame, too.
I know. She's a dame. We need to talk about Dame Lady of the Lakes more.
Yeah. So thank you very much to all the producers. We appreciate it. There's other ways you can help produce the show beyond just your treasure. You can contribute your time and talent. Timestamps. The last timestamps were done by producer Jade Bouncerson. Thank you very much, Jade Bouncerson. And you can also send in jingles.
We have a new jingle. Never cry new stuff.
And today it's a jingle that was sent in by B-Dubs. And B-Dubs has sent in multiple jingles. He sends us a note here. In the morning, gentlemen. A little NA action there. Recently, a fellow producer brought you a supernova clip from the Fantastic Four. I tracked it down and turned it into this. Not bad.
Nice.
Not bad.
Good.
Since there's already an approaching supernova jingle, what if you use this one for reaching supernova? Similar to how the heating up jingles used before being on fire, this would be the supernova proper jingle, which comes after a producer achieves the approaching supernova streak level. I kept it short. Can we give some production credit to the producer who originally provided the clip? God bless y'all and the whole Canarium. I don't remember who it was that sent the original, and we have to dig into our archives
to dig around.
Pull that up. But that is a good idea. Does that mess up your little scheme there? Does it push things back?
We could move things around. Right now it goes approaching supernova to EMP meltdown. And I think that it's no surprise that EMP meltdown is sort of the weakest link in those higher things. So I'm open to that.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. So approaching
we don't have
supernova.
anybody approaching 22 streak in a long time, though.
Let me look. Yeah,
I'm looking.
Right.
I'm just telling you. The next person to hit 21 is going to be a few weeks. So.
Okay. All right. Well,
have it handy.
Yep. All in the soundboard here. So,
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. B-Dubs.
B-Dubs. Thank you very much, B-Dubs.
And
somebody sent a jingle or sent an email about a jingle, but I did not see a file in there.
Oh, yes. I forgot to mention that. Thank you for reminding me. That was from Marty Beggs. He's the one that's done a whole bunch of stuff for us. He sent a note. He said, "See you at the meetup. I've had this sitting around for a while. I know you already have a meetup jingle, but maybe play it every once in a while if anyone likes it. As always, thanks for playing my stuff." No file in the email.
I was so excited. Everything that comes from Marty B is exquisite. And I was like, oh, another Marty B, great. But there was nothing there. So resend it, Marty B. You got to attach the file.
Marty B, we have this for you, though.
Biden's your Marty B jingle.
That's right. There's a Marty B jingle.
Yeah, there's a Marty B jingle, but unfortunately, that's all we can play for Marty B today, other than the end of the show
that'll be
stuff.
Fun for next one.
Yeah. All right. So thank you very much to B-Dubs and Marty B. We'll look for that next time. The other way you can help produce the show is with your art.
One art, please.
And to start things off, as always, Dame Allie.
One art, please. Another one from Allie now. Here it is.
That's a Marty B flavor, too, that jingle there.
Totes.
And here we go. This one comes from producer Allie. It is a portrait of Julian Assange. And the caption says, Ecuador has revoked the citizenship of Julian Assange, the founder of WikiLeaks, who is currently in a British prison. And yes, the story, we didn't cover it, but we're covering it now. See? Content.
But, yes. Content in the break.
In the break.
Yeah, I am having trouble access.
Yeah.
To us about
sounds
this.
like it. Did you open a file? Did you open a tab or something?
Ecuadorian courts.
Okay. You can't hear me.
Oh, yes. That's exactly what it was. I opened a tab for this ABC News article about Ecuadorian court revoking citizenship for Julian Assange, which protected him for so long, but now that he's in British prison, they don't feel like they need to do that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an interesting story. We'll see what happens to Assange. What do you think about Assange? Do you think he's genuine,
Am
or do
I
you
disconnected?
think? Nope, I'm still here, still talking. Can you not hear me? Doesn't sound like you can hear me.
No, yeah, we did the thing where I didn't hear you for a long time, and then suddenly you turned into a chipmunk and talked really fast.
Yeah.
So you're asking what I think about Julian Assange?
Yes. Is he?
I think that might be a conversation for another time.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
He's not doing too well right now.
Yeah.
The honeymoon phase of being the guy who taught us all about some dark secrets from governments around the world, including the Edward Snowden story. The honeymoon phase is over. They are not taking any more of his guff.
Yeah. Well, who needs WikiLeaks when you have Mo Brooks to give up his position of power?
Yeah,
the Republican Party.
It's pretty commonly accepted that WikiLeaks has been compromised.
Yeah.
But who knows? I don't know. I don't have any more information that anybody else has.
Didn't he tweet out the Dead Man Switch a while ago?
Are you talking about McAfee?
No,
Julian
Assange.
Assange's Dead Man Switch.
Yeah, I thought he sent something like it. I don't know if it was the exact Dead Man Switch.
I don't even remember. I can't recall right now.
Yeah.
It's too late.
I forget that you're... it's like midnight for you or something. All right. Thank you very much, Producer Allie. Dame Allie, excuse me.
Right. Get it right.
Me, man. Appreciate it. And keep it up. Very well done. Next up, we have Sir Dove, Knight of Rustbeltia. And
that's right.
yes, he's here as always. Great job. The caption here. Had the idea for this one last week after the article about the DNA Borgs. In classic Ditto from Pokemon fashion, the Borgs moved along, copying and replicating from host to host, growing uncontrollably in size and taking over entire cities. We catch up with the Borg blob trailing behind a protest on his behalf, demanding that the powers that be cease trying to stop the blob and rather try to understand it instead. Hope you guys like it. Keep doing what you do, and I'll keep praying for Yins.
Yep, and that's exactly what we're looking at. We've got a protest going on here. We've got a man standing up front, or actually, I'm sorry. That was so unwoke of me. We have a non-binary person with a short haircut and blue hair, wearing the orange scarf. At least they're masked up, with some sunglasses, holding a sign that says "Borg Lives Matter." And then we've got some other characters here. Who do you think that is on the right? That looks like Yamiche Alcindor.
Could be. Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah,
but maybe
be
I'm misplacing or misnaming this person. On the left, there's another character. Kind of looks like an AOC type character.
I think that is AOC. That's pretty.
Is it? Okay.
Looks like her. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. We've got some other signs like "More than a blob" and "I'm just here for the snacks." And yes, we talked about the blob. Was this the fungus that is like a replicating blob?
Yeah, it's the Borg.
What are they called?
They assimilate.
There's the bacteria.
Yeah, they assimilate all other DNA.
Yes, they found them in the swamps of California, and they will assimilate us all. And I made the comparison how this is kind of like Ditto, the Pokemon Ditto. And yes, a giant Ditto about 80 stories tall is marching with these social justice warriors. He is looming over the skyscrapers, looking down on them with sort of a sinister Ditto face. And of course, we've got the ad for the Gates water. Recycled from my source. Thank you, Bill Gates. And over on the right, we've got an advertisement for Canary Swole, CanaryCry.Swole. Tear the cage apart. What does it say? Tear the cage in half.
Tear the cage in half. Yeah.
With our computer keyboard exercise equipment.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Dove. This is This is beautiful. It's nice to see Ditto making it back in the headlines.
Some details you've missed here. You have some chemtrails in the sky above the pink Ditto here. And also, they're marching on Virtue Boulevard and Signal Avenue. So Virtue and Signal.
That's good. On the corner of Virtue and Signal.
On the corner of Virtue and Signal. And there's a crossed out Illuminati triangle eye. So there's that. And then...
no matter how many details I try to get on the first run of Dove's art, there's always more.
There's always more, and we might even miss stuff too. Like even after we go through everything, it's possible we miss little details. This is like the modern awake version of Where's Waldo?
Yeah, or the I Spy thing.
Yeah, or I Spy. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Sir Dove.
Thank you, Sir Dove. And speaking of Pokemon, just real briefly, Basil, just because I have it in the additional story segment. What do you think about Netflix reportedly working on live action Pokemon series from Lucifer showrunner?
Oh, that is strange that they are bringing that guy in, or girl. I don't know who it is.
Or not, because it's all about little demon beans.
That is true. A lot of people do not like Pokemon for some demon reasons. I saw Detective Pikachu. That was the live action debut of Pokemon. It was fun. I don't remember a thing about the movie, but I'm sure it was great.
All right.
Live action Pokemon. It's what we've been waiting for my whole generation.
Yeah, I've been waiting for live action Dragon Ball, and they did it a couple times, but I don't think they count. No good.
What was it? Like a Japanese filmmaker or something?
No, there was like an American version of Dragon Ball.
Really?
It was awful. I didn't even watch the movie. In fact, it was on my wife's recommendation. She said, "Don't do that to yourself." I said, "Okay."
Don't do that to yourself. Well, I'm getting some confirmation in the chat that Detective Pikachu was fun. So there you go. I win.
You win. All right. Thank you very much, Dove, for that art. And moving on here, we have one from Sir Sigra the Beast. Woo! And this is a screenshot. This is a screenshot of his computer, I think. And
of our stream.
Of our stream, yeah. And it says, "Hello, gentlemen. This little piece of art was inspired by Basil's googly eyes being the only thing we can see on the stream last episode and this episode. It reminded me of an old school Pac-Man when Pac-Man would eat a power pill, then proceed to chase ghosts around and eat them, leaving only the ghost's googly eyes behind to run back home and get another ghost body. So with that in mind, I put together this little piece of quote-unquote art using a screenshot of the show and clip art from around the internet. I hope you enjoy, Sigur the Beast. P.S. Let's be honest, these power pills were probably just LSD mixed with shrooms. I mean, why else would anyone think about chasing ghosts to eat them after consuming one? Not to mention the quote-unquote high of those pills lasted shorter and shorter durations as you go further into the game, meaning Pac-Man was basically building up a tolerance to them. Who knows, maybe he's just the victim of an Illuminati lab test to see how long he could last running around in mazes full of drugs and breadcrumbs before he finally died from his hallucinations.
That's a pretty good interpretation.
Yeah, not bad.
Have you heard some of the deep lore, the video game lore of Pac-Man?
I feel like I have, but
yeah, some people believe that it was like predictive programming for the simulation. He's cruising around, he's going out one way of the map, coming back in. It's also got kind of a flat Earth vibe. And then you eat the power pill, and then you can defeat the ghosts, defeat your own demons, that type of thing. Very good. Thank you very much, Sir Sigur the Beast.
Thank you,
maybe we should consider this for some next time we redesign the stream.
I mean, I just have to add some of the Pac-Man stuff on here. I mean, it's not a bad idea.
Maybe he's cracked the code of the googly eyes. He's figured out my master plan.
Yeah, people watching right now are having that like vortex effect where on the screen is the screen going into itself.
Whoa, bro.
Whoa, bro.
The simulation.
Last piece of art here, and this is one that I think came in a little while ago, and we
missed
totally
it. Yeah,
missed
we
it.
apologize.
So sorry to Mr. Jag. That's the Hungry Hungarian. To make up for it, he's got this piece here. Do you want to try to read through this, or you want me to?
I cannot get close enough. So.
Okay, so it's Mr. Jag in the middle. Yeah.
Nope. Oh, I'm here. Yes. I will go through it. So we've got Mr. Jag in the middle. He's looking very tired, just tired, you know. He's looking over. We've got a big old church on the left-hand side, a big old welcome sign, your traditional looking church, nice and big and cool, I guess. But there's some speech bubbles coming out. Things in these speech bubbles go as follows. The book of Enoch is not canon. Only pastors know what the Bible says. KGV only. Did you get the jab? We accept the Marian apparitions. What is the Marian apparitions?
I think he means Marian apparitions. When Mary appears, it's okay. What was the big one that happened in? I think
Mary
Brazil?
on your toast or on like a. On a water stain.
Yeah, but
there's
there was one
where it's a water stain from a fountain.
Right. There's one big one though in like the 1910s and 20. I forget what it's called. Eli Marzulli talked about it. And
the Fatima.
Yes, Fatima. Yeah, that one.
Okay.
There's more quotes.
The speech bubbles continue. What is the supernatural? Prophecies? What prophecies? We're just here to sing a song. Loki has a series now. Uh-oh. Convicted. Jesus is a consciousness.
Oh no!
You are so fringe, Mr. Jag.
Oh,
yes, he doesn't feel at
sad.
home. Doesn't feel at home in the mainstream church there.
Guy.
And on the right it says, "I want to start a Bible group and Canary Cry meetups in the area of Budapest." I can't read this one. What is this? Something Slavia.
Bukatslava?
Yeah. Okay. I don't know where that is, but somebody from there probably knows where it is.
Yeah.
Vienna or Munich. Now that I got the jab, are able to cross borders. I can organize events. Contact me on mrjag@protonmail.com. Okay, so he's an EU guy or a Europe guy. I think maybe EU guy. He can cross borders with a jab now.
Bratislava is the capital and largest city of Slovakia. There we go.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Bratislava. Great. Yes, and he's trying to put on meetups and trying to do Bible studies. So European listeners, Mr. Jag is your man. He's our hungry Hungarian. You can email him at Mr. Jag, that's MRJAG, JAG, @protonmail.com.
And yeah, Mr. Jag would be initiating European or I guess foreign meetups.
Official foreign meetups. Yeah, there hasn't been. Well, Gons, it's not foreign. We're an international show.
True, foreign to us.
We're global citizens, Gons.
Global.
This is the nuts. You got me again, globe heads.
We are flat cake.
Oh no, we're hollow homies.
Oh, hollow homies, whatever we are. I don't know what we are. We're confused, and
but there you go,
trigger
European
everybody.
listeners. And down here it says, after 3 days of not feeling too well,
you want me to try to read that?
I'm not sure what that word is, but not feeling too well because of the vaccine. I want to contact the listener in my area to organize some events. So there you go. Mr. Jag is reaching out. European listeners.
Yeah, I remember.
And producers.
I remember one of the last pieces he made. He was very sad because he had to take the jab for his job, I think, right?
Right. Yes. So, there's been a number of listeners who have had to take the jab for different reasons. So again, no judgment from us. We understand it is a difficult time, especially over in Europe. So but we'll be praying for you. And there you go. I think if you're a European listener, you definitely need to reach out to Mr. Jag. He's a fellow European and looking for people to connect with after having been forced the jab upon him. So email him at Mr. Jag, MRJAG, at protonmail.com. Do not, hear me out. Listen to me. Do not email Mr. Jag and try to make him feel bad about having to take the jab.
Oh, good point.
Just want to get ahead of that. And we're giving out his email. He is a faithful listener, a great producer. I will hack Mr. Jag's email and read through them and see if anybody is mean to Mr. Jag because of the jab.
Whoa there, cyber pandemic.
I'm a cyber criminal. But yes, or just reach out, and if you're gonna reach out and you're not a European listener, just connect. Give them some love. Let's fellowship. Start an email fellowship with Mr. Jag. Let's connect with Mr. Jag because he's not feeling too great because of the whole jab situation.
Yep. So, I apologize for being late on that one, Mr. Jag, but hopefully this makes up for it.
Yeah, we just missed it, buddy. Sorry.
Yeah, and people contact you in your local area there, and you guys can fellowship and think outside the cage together. And I think that's it for the break. Anything else you got going on here, Basil?
Nope,
or are we good?
That's it. Go to CanaryCry.Meetups.com.
Oh, yeah?
Go check it out.
I need
There's
to
one
update that
coming up.
page, by the way, with this information.
Yeah, we'll update it. But go to CanaryCry.Meetups.com. The next one is on August 7th, I believe. And that is Kim W.'s Estacada meetup in Oregon and Washington. So go do that.
Yes.
Email maidservantofchrist88 at protonmail.com. Maidservantofchrist88 at protonmail.com.
Yeah, and CanaryCryMeetups.com is going to be the way we just pitch the meetup stuff. Unless there is a meetup, and then we'll report on that. Okay. Are we good?
Yep, I'm good.
All right, let's wake up.
You're running out of time, so we need to wake up.
Wake up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
All right, we're going to do a little thing on cyborgs, I think. Oh, no, what happened to my cyborg jingle? Oh, I never actually put it into the thing. Here we go. Here it is.
Are you ready to become cyborg?
Are you ready? And this is a clip, I think it might have been, I don't remember who it was now. I don't want to say the wrong person's name. Sent us a clip here and looked into who this guy was. This is James Giordano, PhD, and an MPhil at Georgetown University. He is a chief of the Neuroethics Studies Program. So, neuroethics, think about that. Very much in line with some Canary Cry thinking, or maybe against it.
And probably the most exciting and cutting edge is one called N3, Next Generation Non-Invasive Neuromodulation. The capability to put vast arrays of sensing and transmitting electrodes deep within the brain in a non-invasive or minimally invasive way to allow real-time access to read from the living brain and right into the living brain remotely, through the cloud, through the web,
Why is he
via
so happy?
distance, across time. And then if we push the envelope a bit further.
Yeah, across time. Not just
Across
space.
time.
Across time.
Even us time travelers, us time variants are not safe.
I like how you,
variants, they're coming for us.
I like how you, the time traveler, is like, what? The outrage like, triggered by this thing.
If we push the envelope a bit further, we begin to see the merger of those ideas that heretofore were thought as, well, perhaps impossible, but now made possible through the conjoinment of a variety of different neurosurgical, biological, biochemical, genetic techniques. Probably most avant-gardistic of that is some of the work of the neurosurgeon Sergio Canavero, the Italian neurosurgeon, who, building upon some of the prior work of Dr. Robert White, is attempting to complete the first human body-to-head transplant. Now, garish as that might sound, the motive is in fact benevolent. I had the opportunity to speak with Dr. Canavero on multiple occasions, and the low-hanging fruit here capability to essentially do good. Yeah, what do we mean by doing good? Well, individuals whose bodies are ravaged by neurodegenerative diseases or other forms of diseases, but whose brain, whose mind is intact. Could we not perhaps facilitate a better quality of life?
He's a very good speaker.
Yeah, it's very suspicious.
It is super suspicious. He sounds like an announcer, or like a narrator of a sci-fi
let's
film.
Just say it. He sounds like an AI, like a
little bit.
Perfectly crafted reading AI.
Yeah,
have
the
you heard
quality's
some
not
of
great.
these? There's some AIs on TikTok that they have mastered inflections and things like that.
We did a report on it a while ago about how the audio, the speech was kind of the last, the final frontier for AI, or to fake things, deep fake or deep voice. And we did do a report on it recently, but I guess they're rolling it out on TikTok now.
Yeah. Well, anywho, I don't mean to distract from the conversation by that, but yes, very eerily perfect reading of whatever he's doing. But yeah, wow, listen to that. Able to, I tried to remember the term, but he just said so much there. But the wireless, non-invasive, almost imperceptible installation of stuff into the brain, wirelessly upgrading, yada, yada, yada. Holy smokes.
Yeah, and this is
who is this guy?
Who
are they claiming he is?
Well, I'm pretty sure it looks like this is some kind of ethics call or some kind of Zoom meeting or something. But he is James Giordano, PhD, MPhil, chief of the Neuroethics Studies program. He leads the sub-program in military medical ethics and co-director of the O'Neill Pellegrino program in brain science and global health law and policy in the Pellegrino Center for Clinical Bioethics. And he's a professor in the Department of Neurology and Biochemistry at Georgetown University Medical Center, Washington, D.C.
This guy is in a whole nother abstraction.
This guy is
plutocratic, transhumanist, like elite. That is an entirely new web to even explore. That's crazy.
It goes even. I'm just going to keep reading this little bio thing he has here. He's a distinguished visiting professor of brain science, health promotions, and ethics to the Coburg University of Applied Sciences, Coburg, Germany, and a couple more things here. He currently serves as chair of the neuroethics program of the IEEE Brain Project.
Oh, of course he is.
And appointed member of the Neuroethics Legal and Social Issues, NELSI, advisory panel.
He's on the ESG. He's at the top of that pyramid.
Advisory panel of the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency.
Oh my
Part of DARPA, too.
He is literally, he's a spider with all 8 legs.
He's a spider and lizard all at the same time.
That is crazy. That is the craziest resume I've ever heard.
It's wild. And he's also, he previously served as research fellow and task leader of the EU Human Brain Project sub-project on dual-use brain science, an appointed member of the United States Department of Health and Human Services Secretary's Advisory Council on Human Research Protections, SACRP, SACHRP.
Catchy.
And as Senior Science Advisory Fellow of the Strategic Multi-Layer Assessment Branch of the Joint Staff of the Pentagon. I could go on here. I mean, he's got like even more stuff here, but we don't have time.
I have never heard a resume that connected with the whole apparatus.
He's a robot spider lizard.
Everything.
Yeah, this is crazy. And in his voice, no wonder. He just has to talk, and the people are probably like,
anyone,
oh my gosh, this man knows what he's talking about.
It's too perfect. Yeah, somebody like that, they need to be, with a voice like that, I could see how he's so involved.
I know, he probably captivates people.
Swoon any congressional board or chair person, or convince anybody of anything.
Yeah.
If anybody is an actual lizard person alien sent here to rule surreptitiously from the shadows, this guy fits the bill for sure.
All you need is a helmet to get to the cortex of your brain.
Well, notice. Okay, so yeah, let's talk about what he said. He said a bunch of crazy stuff. The thing that really got my goat was, he's the head of neuroethics or whatever it was called.
Yeah, neuroethics.
Yeah,
ethics.
And he says all this crazy stuff, the craziest transhumanist, plutocratic, global domination stuff, and he says, and this is good. We can do good. We're doing this for good. And it's like, it's so simple, it's sinister.
What was the word he used? It's let me try to find it, because there's a specific word he used.
Who, building upon some of the prior work, mystic of that is some of the work of the neurosurgeon Sergio Canavero, the Italian neurosurgeon, who, building upon some of the prior work of Dr. Robert White, is attempting to complete the first human body.
Human. Anybody who says human is probably not human.
That is very suspicious, isn't it? I am a regular human man. Oops, did I say human?
Human.
I meant human
man.
Head. Now I will laugh a human laugh.
Garish as that might sound, the motive is in fact benevolent.
Benevolent.
Exactly.
What, like benevolent aliens?
Even his vocal pauses.
Garish as it sounds.
His ums and his vocal pauses, his benevolent. It's like perfectly. It's like
He's a Bond
equation.
Villain. He's a Bond villain.
It is robotically perfect vocal pause to give power to the word benevolent there. That's crazy.
Garish as it might sound, it's benevolent for these humans to replace their heads. All right,
is great.
Anyway.
So I don't mean to interrupt, Gons.
No, go ahead.
Do you need to go soon?
There was a little change of plans. I got a few more minutes here, so we're good to go for another 15, 20 or so. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, so that's that. We're going to do a little bit of politic here, fly through some clips, some stories, and a quick thing on Facebook and religious experiences, and then we'll get out of here.
It's Latin for many. Tick. Now suck your blood. Now suck politics. Your blood.
This was a little press conference that Marjorie Taylor Greene was doing outside. And the viewers, this is on C-SPAN, the viewers of the episode here will see the giant Trump, I don't even know what it is, doll, a humongous Trump doll, and somebody starts blowing a whistle.
Is it the baby balloon?
I don't think it's not a balloon. It looks like I don't know if it's like a piñata or something. I don't know. You'll see it. And then the press conference gets called off as Marjorie Taylor Greene is talking about, like, we will press on to the people protesting.
I thank Congressman Gohmert, a former judge no less, for his commitment to the rule of law and to seeking the truth, even in the face of much opposition.
The giant Trump, I don't know, helmet, mask, I don't know what it is standing there, and he's holding a sign, pedophiles for Trump. They're trolling, obviously.
Yeah, total troll.
First of all,
wow.
To the guy that's blowing the whistle, we are not deterred. And so for anyone that's here being an activist and yelling today, here's the statement that I need everyone to understand. We will not back down. We will not stop asking questions. We are looking for the truth. And we believe the truth can be found by reaching out and answering and asking the right questions to the right people. Listen, there's another thing. The taxpayers of this country pay all of these people's salaries, and they owe the people of this country
Whistle guy
the
keeps
answers
going.
to the questions.
and then this guy comes in.
The left is interrupting the press conference. We need to end it.
Thank you. For those of you that really care about due process, thank you.
Here's what I don't get. If Marjorie Taylor Greene says we will not be deterred, we're going to press forward, and then like the PR guy or something is like, the left has started protests, we must end the press conference. Like while she's talking, I'd fire that guy. I'd be like, dude, I just said that we're pressing on, and it's just a whistle, and we're continuing to talk, and we're making our point. No one's like rushing the stage.
Guy totally folded.
Yeah, and he's like, the left started the protests, and we're ending it. Like, well, why?
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just kind of weird, and then there's not that many people there. I mean, yeah, the whistle was annoying, but I don't know, man.
It kind of seems like the whistle man was trying to provoke violence, and there is a chance that the guy who ended it did the right thing, because that's the last thing you need is somebody losing it and punching a whistle man across the face, and then the story is right-wing extremist Trump supporter punches peaceful protester.
Right. Yeah, that's
totally
true.
Hijacks the narrative. I know it's easy to, I don't know if it's the right decision, but that is an angle at which I could see that guy having some forethought. Just say, it's not worth it to have them control the narrative.
Well, they control the narrative anyway, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's true.
So there was the January 6th commission, the hearings. Did you watch any of this?
No, I have not.
Well, it's very interesting because after a year of defund the police, we had these 4 officers testify. And, this reminded me of Benghazi, where it's just a lot of like one-sided stuff to kind of justify certain things. But here's just a little bit from the hearings with the 4 officers who testified.
I was more afraid to work at the Capitol than my entire deployment to Iraq. The writers called me traitor and shouted that I, an army veteran and a police officer, should be executed.
Several attempted to knock me over and steal my baton. One latched onto my face and got his thumb in my right eye, attempting to gouge it out. I cried out in pain, but managed to shake him off.
One woman in a pink MAGA shirt yelled,
he says the N-word. I did kind of, not bleep entirely, but I flipped it so it doesn't actually get said. But yes, this is a black man here, and he's uses the N-word.
You hear that, guys? This weekend they voted for Joe Biden. Then the crowd, perhaps around 20 people, joined in screaming, boo,
Ahead of today's testimony, House Republicans defended their decision not to participate in the committee's work. And they echoed talking points from the former president, which he released last night, falsely suggesting somehow that the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, was to blame for this attack. Some of the emotional testimony we heard this morning specifically addressed those kinds of efforts by many elected Republicans to whitewash, defend, or downplay the attack in defense of the former president.
Of course, MSNBC is going to, push the Democrat talking point there. But yeah, very emotional police officers.
I mean, it's certainly awful if true.
Well, even if true, there's no mention of instigators, the FBI involvement, which now that Tucker Carlson has like blasted it on his thing, it almost discredits any like true criticism almost. It's almost like, you're just talking, Tucker Carlson talking points. It's just kind of an interesting thing that happens when, Fox News or right-left paradigm picks up on any of the narratives that are more looking at the events objectively, with the informants and the FBI and the Proud Boys and all that stuff. And yeah, certainly if there were people that were riled up to say some of those things, it's horrible. But he even said like 20 people. And my thing is like, okay, 20 people.
There's like 50,000 people there.
Yeah. And
that is an interesting take that they're doing, which is the crime is the ones who broke into the thing and attacked people, attacked cops and stuff like that. That's the crime. So it's interesting. They're basically trying to, the prosecution is trying to basically character assassinate 50,000 people at once.
More than 50,000, I think. I mean, yes, and specifically, yes, you're trying to get everybody that was there just to even peacefully protest. Because remember, Trump said peacefully, and this is like an exact quote. I looked it up to make sure. He said, walk down to the Capitol and, cheer on some senators, not cheer on others. And then he said, we're going to walk down there peacefully and patriotically, let our voices be heard. But the left, it's like, he totally told everybody to
show of force. All they can say is the show of force thing, where he literally says show of, what is it? I don't even know if it's show of force. It's either show of force or show of strength. And then he literally,
yes, he said show of strength. That's what he said.
Show of strength. Yeah. And his literal next words are peacefully. Yeah. Do it peacefully. But they, of course, as always, they don't play that part. They just say, the orange man told them to show strength, and that's what they did.
Yeah. There's another clip here of which one was this one? This one. Oh, this is the guy who Tucker Carlson did go after, and because he was, I guess, part of the force when they were actually attacked like a year ago, and he doesn't seem to have any trauma from that. When I think somebody got shot at that one, but for some reason he says that he's traumatized from this one. It's only 30 seconds. We'll play it.
I feel like I went to hell and back to protect them and the people in this room. But too many are now telling me that hell doesn't exist, or that hell actually wasn't that bad. The indifference shown to my colleagues is disgraceful.
Slam the table.
But nothing, truly nothing, has prepared me to address those elected members of our government who continue to deny the events of that day, and in doing so, betray their oath of office.
Pretty good actor, I must say. The hand slam looked so planned.
Unfortunately for him, really does ring of acting. It does not come across. Look, I'm sorry, this guy had a
tough time,
a traumatic time. Not to downplay the trauma that maybe he does feel, but yes, this came across as very disingenuous.
Yeah, almost like should I slam my hand on that? Yes, yeah, you should definitely, because this is all
this
written
whole
statement.
This is really a tough spot because the Republicans refuse to take part, which means the Democrats get to craft whatever they want to craft.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a tough one. And to your point, this is one of the...
They get to put on a little TV show.
Yep, this is Representative Stephanie Murphy giving her emotional testimony of one of the guys who protected her, she claims. But listen to... See, the thing is, the agenda or the goal of the crazy MAGA people who broke in. Just listen to the end here.
I have two young children. I have a 10-year-old son and a 7-year-old daughter.
Always appealing to emotions, by the way, and personal stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They're the light of my life. And the reason I was able to hug them again was because of the courage that you and your fellow officers showed that day. And so just a really heartfelt thank you. Well, it's clear that you suffered immense pain from the assault.
This is a guy who had his eyes almost gouged out.
Mm-hmm.
Eye almost gouged out.
It's clear that you were outnumbered, and yet you just said you got back out there again. Tell me what's worth all of that pain? What was worth it? What were you fighting for that day?
Democracy. You were 40 feet away. 40 yards, whatever.
40 feet, 40 yards, whatever. It's a 3x difference, but
same diff.
Especially with the razor thin margins.
You know what? That is a clue. that is a clue that it's scripted.
True.
Because
yeah,
if he works there, he walks that every day. He would not confuse 40 feet with 100. What is 40 yards?
120 feet.
That's 120 feet.
Yeah.
If he works there every working day, he would not confuse 40 feet with 120 feet. He confused that because he had been reading the script
Yeah, and he
of
was
40
told.
something.
Yeah. Yep. There's a little bit more here.
Especially with the razor-thin margins on Democrats and Republicans in the House and Senate. If any single one person was kidnapped or killed, which I have no doubt in my mind is what they intended,
Really?
that would affect the outcome of legislation.
Well, if it's no doubt in his mind.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, really? They were going to kill or kidnap somebody?
No
I mean, it
doubt in
didn't
your
look
mind.
like it, even with the live feed of people walking in, strolling, taking pictures of statues and stuff. It didn't look like they were there to kidnap or kill anybody. And the only one that was
staying
killed.
within the velvet lines.
Yeah. So anyway, and there was a New York, I don't have it here. It's from a few weeks ago, but there's a New York Times video, a 40-minute documentary of, what happened. And of course, they don't show the footage of bats being handed out from inside of a non-broken window, or the barricades being moved out of the way and a bunch of people dressed in black walking towards the Capitol. A lot of footage that was left out. The people just strolling in wearing backpacks.
The videos of one of the FBI provocateurs, well, I guess alleged FBI provocateurs, is kind of a boomer-aged gentleman wearing a red hat. And it's like the day before, like at a little meeting at the day before. And he starts yelling like, we need to go in there. We need to break in. We need to take the house back. We need to get in there and
There's a
it's
video
our
of
house.
There's a video of an FBI informant saying that?
Hold on. So they are accusing this man of being an FBI informant.
Okay.
He's a boomer-aged man, but that wasn't done. He's yelling all this, and everybody around him is just like, "What? No, no, that's crazy!" And the crowd starts shouting, "Fed, Fed!"
Oh,
Fed,
interesting.
Fed. Yeah. So they, whether or not this guy was an agent provocateur, everybody around him sure thought he was.
That's interesting because most people on the right, conservative, whatever, the whole narrative that they're pushing here, the left, Democrats, whatever, is basically the narrative of the intelligence agencies. They're
right.
So it's kind of fascinating that they would be caught up in this, and people. There's people on the left who buy that narrative, and of course that upsets the people on the right there. But
but it was very stark evidence to like, no, they didn't want to break in. Like this whole crowd of people was identifying people who wanted to break in as feds the whole time.
Yeah,
they like knew. So
yeah, and the other part that was, and I don't have it here, but there's some footage from that New York Times documentary documenting how history will remember January 6th. It shows, the break-in, like it says first breach, which is kind of weird because it's not how I remember it that day when we were live. Because remember we were watching PBS and there were windows that were smashed, but then the PBS reporter that was inside interviewed two of the people that had first broken in. But according to the New York Times, there was a whole different breach in a whole different part of the building. And the first guy that walks in is a police officer. And so he goes in, there's like a couple security guards inside kind of standing around, and he covers his face and I guess he says police or something, because the New York Times pauses the video, circles the guy and says, this man is police. And then these guys, middle-aged men, come in with MAGA hats and Confederate flag. And so this guy walks in with a huge Confederate flag and they pause it, giant circle around the Confederate flag. But you watch it and it's like, you can see the creases on the Confederate flag, almost as if they just bought like a brand new shiny Confederate flag, not something that they're taken down from some sacred Confederate altar. And
from their secret Nazi basement meeting.
Yeah, they ordered it online on eBay or something, and they're like, perfect. This is great to get the thing.
Yeah, fresh out the plastic. Agent provocateur.
Yes. I just couldn't believe how poor even the main narrative stuff, if you really looked at it objectively, looked pretty disgraceful. But
yeah,
in any case,
and the flags, they're very powerful objects. They really have, and they're, I'm not trying to get into it, but, flags have a very magical significance.
Yeah.
And that's why they are used so often. You see American flags fly in protests all over the world, which is very interesting. And as we know, the CIA makes a habit of provoking a lot of these protests. And, because it doesn't matter what it is. If you have a crowd of a gazillion people in Cuba or Hong Kong or France or Brazil or Venezuela or wherever, if you just have one guy holding an American flag, it has a very powerful effect on the America's response and the public accepting sort of outrageous responses by the U.S. military or U.S. diplomats. Putting the flag, you can change the entire meaning of a protest or a gathering or a video clip, just by having a different flag. And so that's why you see nobody question the authenticity of this flag. Nobody question the authenticity of the person carrying the flag. No, they take the flag and it represents all 50,000 people. And so, it's just a little bit convenient that it fits the narrative when it's a freshly crisp folded flag right out of the plastic.
Newly converted Confederate.
Right. Like he was
really
just
stoked
convinced.
about his newfound family. He's going to break into the Capitol and kill politicians.
Yeah.
It's just a complete hogwash.
Emily in YouTube gives the term. I mean, that is what false flag is. That is what, that's the etymology of the false flag term.
Right.
You fly a false flag and then you use that as evidence for, or justification for whatever.
Yeah. So I did have a couple stories on this, but I don't even think it's worth it because we're a little short on time. But basically, Washington Post, police officers deliver emotional testimony about a violent day at Capitol. And then on the flip side, Fox News, Tucker Carlson hits Dems for, quote, carefully selecting police officers invited to January 6th commission hearing. So
See,
the
I
right-left
don't know
paradigm
about that even.
continues.
I don't even think Tucker's comments are correct on that. That's not a careful selection. It's a
careful,
grooming.
Grooming or a careful
grooming
scripting.
and a scripting.
Yeah, scripting.
Yeah.
It's
casting is what it is.
Yeah. Norman Lear style. So NBC News, this was just, I guess, more of a headline. There's not much to the story. Former Senator Barbara Boxer assaulted, robbed in California.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
In California.
Yeah, I know. I don't even know if the people that did it know who she is. But you know what I mean? Like,
I could not pick Barbara Boxer out of a lineup. I'm looking at her right now, and
she looks much older than when she was in office. So
look, this is not a comment just about her age.
No, it's not. I'm just being.
She looks ghoulish. She's wearing like
I wasn't gonna
black
go that
makeup.
She's got the black eyeshadow.
It's not just about her age. She's wearing black makeup, very dark eyeshadow, black lipstick. She's wearing gray and a black piece of jewelry, black glasses, black pants. She looks like went goth.
Yeah, her new look post office is just straight up goth.
Sorry, Barbara. Yeah. Barbara, if you're listening to the show, I didn't mean to call you ghoulish. Just commenting on your new style choices.
Another story. Oh, this is some news, some science here. Where's my news? Oh, did I get rid of it off my board? Oh, here it is.
It's Newsome science, baby! Ha!
LA Times, likely California voters now almost evenly split on Newsom recall poll finds. Newsom is not, he's losing his Democrat wall there.
Not doing good.
Californians who say they expected to vote in the September recall election are almost evenly divided over whether to remove Governor Gavin Newsom from office, evidence of how pivotal voter turnout will be in deciding the governor's political fate, according to a new UC Berkeley Institute of Governmental Studies poll co-sponsored by the LA Times. Listen, if UC Berkeley and the LA Times... Uh-oh, did I lose everybody? My computer screens all went black. Okay, I'm still here.
We're still here.
Okay. We're still live? Okay. So if UC Berkeley and the LA Times got together and their polls are showing that it's evenly divided, that's not a good sign for them. The findings dispel the notion that California's solid Democratic voter majority will provide an impenetrable shield for Newsom and reveal a vulnerability created by a recall effort that has energized Republicans and been met with indifference by many Democrats and independent voters. So there you go. Democrats turning on their king, the California king.
Kate for Cali.
Oh no. No, not that.
Get used to it.
Kevin Paffrath. Get that YouTuber in there. And
YouTube. Yeah, that's what we need is a YouTuber as governor.
Hey, it's not about who you are, it's about what your plan is, and I like Kevin's plans.
It's about how many followers you have.
Yeah, that's true.
Might as well just get a TikToker in there.
Yeah. I don't trust TikTokers though. And I think it might have been Sick of the Beast. I apologize if it wasn't, but he sent us this little thing here. Recall Newsom so everybody's child can attend school and camp unmasked like his own child. And there's a photo here of Newsom's son at some basketball camp without his mask on. You know, part of me is like, don't bring the kids into it. You know, it's a little, but also, yeah. You know, it's kind of like one of those, yeah, the point is made that, you know, his kid doesn't have to wear a mask at a basketball camp, but also don't use kids for political fodder. It's just not a good look.
Yeah, no need to do that. Just no need.
Yeah, you don't need to do that. He did it to himself with his dinner table thing. Yeah. So anyway, that's that there. And you got anything on that, or you're just pulling for Kate? Or not Kate.
I'm not pulling for Kate. I've just seen the future, and I know Caitlin is your governor.
Oh, man.
I've been there, and I've come back, and I'm telling you, Gons, things are looking up.
Oh, I need to have a conversation with the Time Lords, and I may rebel against the timeline and change things up so we don't end up...
I'm a time variant. I'm not supposed to be telling you all this.
Oh, no. So you're actually the one that's going to mess it up, see? Ha-ha.
They're hunting me. Yes, I'm sorry. I've changed the timeline.
We need a great reset.
Learn to use the dark side.
People don't even read their Bible, for heaven's sakes.
Last story.
6.
New York Times, Facebook's next target, the religious experience. Oh, goody. You want to read a little bit of this? We don't have to read the whole thing. It's not super long.
Yeah, no, I'll read a little. I've been avoiding reading things because I'm afraid that my audio will cut out when I open articles.
Oh, it might actually. Yeah, you're right.
Well, I've got it open now. So if I'm here, see, that's what happens.
Okay, all right. Go on.
Yeah. New York Times headlines, Facebook's next target, the religious experience. Months before the megachurch Hillsong opened its new outpost in Atlanta, its pastor sought advice on how to build a church in a pandemic from Facebook.
Oh, no.
Social media giant. Yeah, that's great. Of course, Hillsong went to Facebook and asked them how to build a church. The social media giant.
Don't advise the word of God. Just the word of Zuckerberg.
No, you got to ask Facebook, hey, how do I get people to log on to my church service?
Oh,
the social media giant had a proposition. Perfect. Just what we need. Social media giants propositioning.
Hey guys,
pastors.
I got beef jerky and some proposition.
You want to go?
Some meat.
My cool surfboard. So, human food. Sam Collier, the pastor, recalled in an interview to use the church as a case study to explore how churches can go farther on Facebook.
Oh my gosh. Build back better or farther on Facebook?
Farther on Facebook.
I got another F word that I can throw in there.
Churches. Don't. For months, Facebook developers met weekly with Hillsong and explored what the church would look like on Facebook and what apps they might create for financial giving, video capability, or live streaming. When it came time for Hillsong's grand opening in June, the church issued a news release saying it was partnering with Facebook and began streaming its services exclusively on the platform. Oh, this is what happens, folks.
Oh, no.
Beyond that, Mr. Collier could not share many specifics. He had signed a non-disclosure agreement. Can you imagine that? Brothers and sisters of the congregation, can you imagine your pastor having a non-disclosure agreement with Facebook? This is unbelievable.
Oh.
Quote, they are teaching us. We are teaching them,
he
said. Quote, together, we are discovering what the future of the church could be on Facebook. Facebook, which recently passed $1 trillion in market capitalization, may seem like an unusual partner for a church whose primary goal is to share the message of Jesus. Is it? Is it their primary goal? Because it kind of seems like maybe that's not their primary goal. But the company has been cultivating partnerships with a wide range of faith communities over the past few years, from individual congregations to large denominations like the Assemblies of God and the Church of God in Christ. Now, after the coronavirus pandemic, new ways to operate, Facebook sees an even greater strategic opportunity to draw highly engaged users onto its platform. And there's the rub, folks. Facebook is using the church as an even greater strategic opportunity to draw highly engaged users. Oh, you highly engaged churchgoers, don't worry. You can still go to church on Facebook exclusively.
You know what this is leading
aims to become the virtual home.
And you kind of hit on it right there, the virtual home. Because of the VR stuff that Facebook is basically monopolizing with all that technology, wearables and VR and AR, I bet you anything part of the Hillsong thing here is to experience worship song, like concerts, through the virtual world. And that's part of the big reason why they're doing this.
Fly up into the cosmos and visit the Christ consciousness on the moon and zip around.
Yeah.
See the globe Earth. Yeah.
The big lie.
This is incredible. The company aims to become the virtual religious community and wants churches, mosques, synagogues, and others to embed their religious life into its platform.
Gosh.
From host. Now, look, embed is a term that was most people synonymize with internet stuff. You embed a video on a web page. Yeah. But embed, should we just look up the definition of embed?
I can, yeah. Sorry, you're lagging a little bit, so I'm a little behind on.
I know, it's because I'm looking up the definition
Fix
of embed.
an object firmly and deeply in a surrounding mass.
Yes. Does it have the etymology of embed there? Because it literally means get in bed. It means to be in bed. They want churches, mosques, synagogues, and others to put their religious life in bed with the Facebook platform.
To lay in a bed is the etymology. Yes. 1778.
Yep. So there you go, religious people. Get in bed with Facebook. From hosting worship services and socializing more casually to soliciting money, it is developing new products. Can you think of any better word to use to embed itself Did you lose me?
I did for a second. Yeah, you're back though. Keep going.
Okay. Can you think of any more horrible, ironic, and prophetic word to use for the church to embed itself with the technocracy and the corporate monopoly of Facebook? Hello? I mean, I'm pretty sure Revelation talks about many passages in the Bible talk about the church or God's people getting in bed in a very literal sense, in a prostitution sense with Babylon. And that is literally word for word what they're saying here in this article.
Yeah, keep going.
That's all I got.
Okay.
Is there more to go?
No.
Yeah, I mean, I think we get the point. I think, it's another one of these New York Times 100-paragraph articles.
Sure.
But, I mean, I think that's the big point there. The Facebook is not only trying to take over your life in the marketing sense, they want to have your currency in the Libra sense, cryptocurrency sense, Facebook Pay sense, your messaging, your communications, WhatsApp, Messenger, Instagram, Facebook, but also your religious life by embedding your spiritual life in Facebook.
Yeah, Sheryl Sandberg, who's the chief operating officer at Facebook, said that, quote, faith organizations and social media are a natural fit because fundamentally both are about connection. And she says, quote, our hope is that one day people will host religious services in virtual reality spaces. There you go. As well, or use augmented reality as an educational tool to teach their children the story of their faith, she said. Part of preserving the scriptures in word and the word of God is that it kind of and through the centuries it leaves kind of this obviously you can go to the locations where some of the things happened and you can look, but it's embedded in like this spiritual I don't know if it's it's more like when you read the Word of God and the Bible talks about how it's like spiritual food, almost like you're getting fed. The Word of God. It kind of fills you up, and I think when you have a virtual experience, you have to craft everything, the environment, the people there, whatever.
Yeah,
it can very much skew the heart of the message. Based on how...
what's been the biggest problem with the church nowadays, especially with megachurches, that it's become too contrived.
Yeah.
That it's more like a concert, that it's more about flashy lights and smoke machines and lasers and catchy pop music. That's been the whole problem with the church in the past 10, 20 years. And this is just taking it to the next level, where the very surroundings, it will be the ultimate contrivance in that it's not even made of matter. It's digital contrivance. It's so funny because in their desire to save the church or redefine the church in this modern age or whatever, they are diving deeper into the things that has made the church insufferable in the past 20 years and hollow and empty and meaningless. and it's not just about connection.
Yeah.
It's not just about having the stories play out in a fun, the felt board was fine. Okay. The felt board is about the maximum amount of technology needed to teach kids about the Bible.
Yeah.
We do not need to send these kids into the virtual etheria to learn about it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not even mad. It's just very sad.
Yeah. Well,
and the saddest part is Facebook is going to make $1 billion.
I was going to say, and not just, and here, I'm just going to read a couple parts of the article here to wrap up here, but there's a section about privacy worries, from the spiritual community.
Kidding.
And it says here, the potential for Facebook to gather valuable user information creates enormous concerns, says Sarah Lane Ritchie, a lecturer in theology and science at the University of Edinburgh. The goals of businesses and worshiping communities are different, she said, and many congregations, often with older members, may not understand how they could be targeted with advertising or other messages based on their religious engagement. Quote, corporations are not worried about moral codes, she said. Quote, I don't think we know yet all the ways in which this marriage between big tech and the church will play out. I know, Revelation 13. A Facebook spokeswoman said, this is crazy. A Facebook spokeswoman said the data it collected from religious communities would be handled the same way as that of our other users.
Oh, so in the worst possible way.
Exactly. We'll just sell it to advertisers and make billions and trillions off of them. And that non-disclosure agreements were standard process for all partners involved in product development. Yeah, little euphemism there. But, I mean, yeah, we're going to handle it just like all other users of Facebook, meaning we're going to exploit it for profit.
Yeah, this
like,
is
man,
horrific.
Come on.
Yeah.
You can't even you can't even answer it without exposing yourself.
This is a turning point. It's really sad. It's a sad turning point, and unfortunately not a surprising one.
Yeah.
I mean, again, if you've been listening to Canary Cry for 10 years, this comes as no surprise, but it is sad whenever we hit these once fantasy-driven conspiracy theories about the church and technocracy. I say that kind of tongue-in-cheek there, folks. I come to pass, and we are left with our only option is to just witness it and say, we told you so.
I know. Yeah, Mr. Collier.
Right. I think we should get out of here.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking at the time here.
We got that.
Late. Yep, we got it.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning into this episode of Canary Cry. Next one will be on Friday. That's Friday the 30th. Gone. You're on your own that day, my man.
Oh, no.
So there you. I know. What are you gonna do? You have a plan? Are we gonna do an interview thing? Are we gonna get? Are you gonna get guests to come on? You gonna go solo?
I'll figure something out. I might bring somebody to assist or something. We'll see.
You're a smart fella. You can figure it out.
Yeah.
All right. So there you go. Friday the 30th, folks. And remember, we will need some producers for that show. But I do want to thank the producers for this episode 368 of Canary Cry News Talk. And that is our executive producer, Dame Lady of the Lakes, producers Vicky S., Marsha M., Sir Casey the Shield Knight, Malik W., Big Tank, Rebecca B., James H., Veronica D., Scott K., Tristan H., Kim W., Dodie the Coyote, and Dalton H. Also,
oh no,
and our time stampers, oh no, and our international team of producers who make this show possible. Am I back?
Yeah.
Oh no,
it's happening. It's just gappy.
Well, the RSS feed will be better,
hopefully.
So there you go. Thank you very much. You can produce the show by heading over to patreon.com/CCNT. That's patreon.com/CCNT. Or if you don't like Patreon, head on over to CanaryCryRadio.com/support.
CanaryCryRadio.com/support.
That's right, CanaryCryRadio.com/support. Go become a producer. Trust me, it'll feel good. You'll feel like you're in control of your media future, and you will join the prestigious association of producers of Canary. We should have a guild. Our producers should be in a guild. Anywho, but you can do that. So thank you very much. But there's other ways to help support the show if producing financially is not in the cards for you. If you are a artist or a musician or a techno creative person of any kind, you can create some art, whether it's jingles or art or music, whatever it is. Send it on into CanaryCryRadio@gmail.com if you like it easy, or CanaryCryRadio@protonmail.com if you like to keep it secret. You can also help out the show by leaving ratings and reviews. Gons will be reading ratings and reviews on Friday, and the ratings and reviews really help us out. It's, I mean, when you guys leave, when we hit that quota of 5 or more reviews every week, I can just see the charts. The charts are amazing. You guys, we have no control over these. It's all producers of the show leaving ratings, reviews on Apple Podcasts. If you have an Apple device or know somebody who has an Apple device, search for Apple Podcasts. It's a purple icon. Click on that. Search for Canary Cry News Talk. Subscribe, of course, and go ahead and leave a rating and review. It activates those algorithms to get those robots out there to share the show with people who have never heard it before. And it is working. I believe we are going to hit our 5 review quota for this week. Thank you to the reviewers. I think we might need 1 or 2 more. So if you've been thinking about doing it, please go leave a rating and a review. Thank you very much. And lastly, just share the show. Share it with your friends. Share it with your family. Hey, if you're a trucker like Big Tank, share it with truckers. If you're a doctor, share it with doctors. If you're a robotic arm scooping ice cream, share it with your fellow robotic arms, whatever it takes. And you can also just share it out on your social media. It still works, folks, sharing it out on social media. If that's all you can do, we'll take all the help we can get. But you got friends, you got family. They're starting to wake up to the fact that the world is not what it seems. And we like to call it rattling cages. And if you need any more instructions, here's what you do. You grab by the cage, and then you shake them.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right. Just ask Noah. Gons, any last words?
Nope.
Okay. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Give me a break. Feed him more.
Every bird alive is a government surveillance drone. All 12 billion birds in the United States are artificial.
They wrote the bill. Feed him more. $120 days. Come on, man. Keep yapping, man.
Aliens. Aliens. Aliens.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy!
I want to shake things up, shake things up. I want to shake things up, shake things up. Leave the bird alone. I want to stir up some controversy. I want to rattle a few cages. I want to rattle a few cages. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. A crusader for the little guy. Little guy. Little guy. Well, we'll see about that.
Whatever, Illuminati.
More.
It will kill.
Congratulations, you are being rescued. Please do not resist.
And melt those babies into candles.
You're moving up with lots of charm. Come on, man, you're just an arm. Hey, Flippy, please don't take my girl.
Are you even woke?
Hey, Flippy, please don't take my girl now.
Science is truth.
You do not know what you are talking about.
Vaccinations.
I'm history, your nuts and bolts, perhaps 33 megavolts. Hey Flippy, please don't take my girl. Flippy, don't take my girl. Hey Flippy, please don't take my girl now. Enslave my kids, embark a new career. Don't you take her, it's not the year. Hey Flippy, please don't take my girl.
Aborted feces.
Hey Flippy, please don't take my girl now. Hey Flippy, please don't take my girl.
Anytime.
Hey Flippy, please don't take my girl now.
Vaccinations.
It's all coming together.
We're all gonna die.
Fun fact, I believe it was
Aliens.
another fun fact. Fun fact.
We were made by the aliens.
Another fun fact.
We're all gonna die.
To my Screamo days.
Give me a break.
In the future, humans will be confined in a people's zoo.
I'll keep you safe and warm in my people's zoo.
Give me a break.
I'll keep you safe and warm now in my people's zoo. Breathe in more. You, yeah, you in my people's zoo. I'll keep the cameras on.
120 days.
I'll keep the cameras on now in my people's zoo.
Aliens. Aliens.
You, yeah, you in my people's zoo.
That was doing Slim Jim.
Science! Hey!
They've been creating animal-human hybrids for decades.
Come on, man.
Aborted feces.
I'll make you fat and sassy in my people's zoo.
Vaccinations.
Make you fat and sassy in my people's zoo.
Everybody loves waffles. Everybody loves waffles.
You, yeah, you. You, yeah, you. You, yeah, you in my people's zoo.
I'll keep you warm and safe in my people's zoo.
Do not come back, you Nazi psychopaths. Aliens.